Paul is literally the worst.
Hell no. Hello. I did not fix the music like I was supposed to after last week for my intro because that bitch is too long. So I made my own intro, and I'm going to go back and re-record that intro, and that's going to be the intro after the guys. Hello.
Hey, everybody. It's Bass and Brews.
Your weekly distraction from quality podcast content.
I've decided, maybe you've seen it lately in the social media, not only is 2024 the wood era for Bass and Brews, but we are fully embracing Forever Feral as our new tagline because I feel like every episode's gotten a little wilder, and I absolutely love it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed last week's episode with Mike, our Bigfoot expert, because that was life-changing for me. I'm actually going to be leaving the show, and I'm going to go find Bigfoot. I'm going to be gone for about 9 months, just out in the woods looking for Bigfoot, trying to ask Bigfoot what exactly is Bigfoot style. So,
yes, I want to know when Bigfoots do it. I want to know what Bigfoot style is. My guess is never mind. Let's just get started with this podcast because I'm super damn excited about this one. We got a bona fide special operations motherfucker up in the house.
We do, but before we get there, hey, just a reminder, sign up for that Patreon. We're going to be starting out Last Call with Alex and Paul. You're only going to get access to that if you are a Patreon member. Also, remember, head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, and then leave the meanest fucking comment that you can. I haven't checked in a minute.
On that, we've got 2 new ones we have to read out tonight. Do you want to start with those? Let's go ahead and read those out.
Yeah, let me, do you have them pulled up, or do I need to do it?
No, I'll pull them up. You read the first one, I'll read the second one.
All right. Well, how about we didn't prepare for this. We were really bad today.
Like, we prepared for it. Well, I have never prepared for one of these podcasts. I prepared for that fucking
Bigfoot. Which one are you going to do, the January 23rd or the...
Well, hold on, because I have to go search for Bass and Brews since...
Great. So the first one comes from Denclair Prague. They give us 5 stars. Remember, that's all you have to do, 5 stars, and we're going to read your shit review to us. This one, it's titled Terrible. If listening to drunken rambling about Astroglide and randomness with some loosely based outdoor-related content thrown in, this is the place for you. Well, thank you for that. Also, that wasn't a complete sentence, so obviously you're fucking drunk too, so welcome to the show.
All right, we got the next one is Love at First Cast from Bub Bad 1993.
Yeah, this one's
is he even old enough to be listening to this podcast? 93. I guess so. He's 21 years old.
Yeah, just in time.
He can buy alcohol. All right. Bub Bad 1993 says Bass and Brews, the story of 2 men with a hidden love affair for each other. One looks like Frodo Baggins' hillbilly meth addicted second cousin twice removed, who only comes around once in a while asking for money. And he constantly talks about his glory days in the Coast Guard, floating around on his paddle boat, being a puddle pirate. While the other one gives Bigfoot a run for the largest, hairiest creature in the world, I would say that would be the other Alex, Tall Alex.
It's true.
I added that in, but Bigfoot is smarter than him, and all he talks about is how he was a third-string punter on his backwoods homeschooled football team, and how he was a wild... First of all, I wasn't homeschooled. Secondly, wildland firefighter is one word. There's no S. But back to the review.
Yep.
And how he was a wildlands firefighter. No way this guy could drag a hose 300 feet. Look, we don't be dragging hoses while I'm firefighting.
Finish.
He gets winded from getting up out of his chair. Why anyone would listen to this podcast, I don't know. I'd rather bend over at a Nickelback concert than listen to these 2 idiots talk nonsense all day. That's got to be in the top 3 of them all. Bub Bad 1993, whoever you are, send us, what's our email? bassandbrews@gmail.com.
Yeah, we got a present for you. Send
Bub
us
Brad.
your number one. Send us a email, and we're going to send you a special Bass and Brews package.
Send the email to bassandbrews@gmail.com. We're going to send you something. Also, anybody else, if you want to, holler at us, tell us anything, get in touch with us. If you don't have our cell phone numbers, if you don't get in touch with us on the socials, holler at us through email.
All right, I think that was all of it. So we've got, as Paul said, we have a bona fide American badass. We've got Matt Collins here with us. Matt, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Well, thank you for coming on. I know you're very busy. You've got, not only is he a fisherman, but he's also a pilot doing whirly bird things.
Well, hold on. Let's back up a second.
Okay.
Because before he became a pilot of a Chinook, he did 10 years as a Green Beret. So, Matt, tell me, as a Green Beret, how did it feel like playing second fiddle to the Navy SEALs?
Are you serious?
Well, yeah, I mean, from my knowledge, the SEALs are like the shit, and the Green Berets are the ones that have to be rescued from, by the SEALs every time.
Oh my! You probably sit at home and fucking watch David Goggins all day long.
Listen, if you're cold, fuck it, keep running.
Well, I mean, it was the SEALs who went after Osama.
Oh Jesus! You
And
serious?
that's rude. And that's rude, Paul, because it goes SEALs, Rangers, PJs, and then Berets, right? And this is gonna be like the shortest episode ever. I think we fully offended our guest already.
Oh man!
I mean, what's the deal though? Like,
Well, I don't know. What the hell, man?
well, shit. I mean, come at me if you're gonna come at me, because you ain't even saying nothing.
I mean, you're sipping some Surge and some chicks drink, some White Claws or some shit. Come
Yep.
on, man.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. You like us? Y'all skinny and shit.
Okay.
You're all skinny and shit. Well, I will say,
Yeah, I mean, you're in North Carolina. Why don't you just go? I mean, you're close enough to them. You just go start some shit over there.
I feel like the Navy SEALs do get a lot of press, right? But those dudes are also dumb enough to join the Navy as a whole, so they can't be that fucking good because they are in the Navy. So, props to you for not being in the Navy, because yeah. But Matt, how did you, as Paul likes to say, what was your journey to get to this point?
I don't know, man.
Are you
This
mad?
dude up
Are you
here.
mad
Are
at me,
you-
Matt? You look a little fucking. You look a
Yeah.
little irritated with
I
me.
mean, I got some chubby asshole, talking shit right now. Are you serious? You gonna
Well, hey, I'm as
invite me
serious as-
on just to talk some shit?
Well, I mean, shit, motherfucker. Hell, you know what? Fuck you. I'll leave.
All right.
All right.
Alex, nah, I ain't taking this shit.
All right.
I can already tell what this
Good
is.
luck,
This
Alex.
is a
He
fucking
gonna
thing.
call me.
No,
Fuck this
fuck
shit.
you. This is a thing that you guys set up before I fucking
Jesus.
got on the show.
Who's that guy? Is he real? Like for real?
I think he is. I don't know. I'm really confused at this point. In my head, I think that this is a fucking trick because Paul likes to get guests to play tricks on me. So I think you both are gonna get some acting cred here. He actually dropped all the way the fuck out.
No, I didn't know he was gonna do that.
I'm really confused on this. All right, I guess we're running it without Paul, Matt. Anyways,
Cool.
I think this is definitely the more feral that we've gotten. All right, how did you if you'd like to explain, I'm trying to get this back together. So you started out in geez, I'm thrown off. This is gonna be awesome. I can see that you're texting Paul, so I know that this is all fucking bullshit. You guys are the worst. If this is fucking, you guys are the fucking worst. I hate fucking both of you. That little fucker. You guys are the worst. See, Paul did this before, and I hate it when he gets on before me. I know it's going to be a bad fucking day when I show up in the green room.
Hell, fuck you, Alex.
Motherfucker, dude.
Were
I
you
was like,
scared? Were you scared?
He thought we were talking. He thought that we were setting him up because I think he knows you well enough. But then I think we had him for a little bit.
Well, you did, Matt.
He said this is going to be the most awkward shit.
Matt,
ever.
you were supposed to be more irate during that.
No,
we have
the
been
quiet.
texting.
No, the quiet irate was what got me because he was still holding his composure. Like if he would have like flipped the fuck out, I would have known. Like, oh, something's up. It was the quiet, like, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed that I'm on this show, which normally that's what people feel. I'm fine with that. But yeah, that one got me at the end. You know what really gave it away was Matt texting you, Paul. I could see it.
Yeah.
Well, I had to text
I couldn't
him.
hold it in much longer. That was fun. No, so yeah, Paul texted me yesterday and he's like, "Hey man, what's your temperament? Are you like able to get all fired up?" And you ask me and my buddies, I'm pretty calm.
Right. We can tell.
Dude. So I don't yell at people. You know, there's a lot more ways to get at somebody, but that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it was fun for somebody. I'm glad it was fun for you guys and all the listeners. But this
Alex, when I left, did you think it was real at that point?
Yes. Like when you actually backed all the way out, I was like, holy fuck. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, Matt did sell it really well, too. Again, it was the quiet anger. It was a lot of huffing and puffing, and I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, hey, Matt,
he kept trying to start over the interview, and then
I couldn't do it.
Okay, I'll try. Then he finally said, "Oh shit."
Matt, he texted me. Alex texted me and goes, "Wait, is he serious?" Like right before I signed off, he goes, "Wait, is he serious?" And I didn't see it until after I signed off.
Oh well, that's great.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something a lot more offensive too. I mean, that wasn't.
Well, I told you what the fuck I was going to say, and you said, "Yeah, that's good." And I was like, "Is there anything else that could be more offensive?" You say, "No, not really. That's good." But
there's way more. You could talk about like, hey, are the Green Berets, are they like aligned with the French because they wear that little hat on their head? Like, there's so many things you could have said.
Hey, Matt, I did set it up on Alex yesterday a little bit better too. I texted Alex yesterday and said, "Hey, man, I really don't know this guy at all. Like I just followed him and he followed me on Instagram and this and that." I was telling Alex all this shit. He's like, "Oh, I thought you knew him." I was like, "No, not really. It's just like he followed me on Instagram, I followed him back, and I saw he was blah, 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 blah." And so I tried to set Alex up to make it seem like we didn't even know each other at all.
I fucking hate you, Paul. I hate you.
Look, once or twice a year, I'm going to message anybody that's listening that's going to come on. Once or twice a year, I will side message you, and we will run a game on Alex. The last one was with Blaine Upton.
The last one was Jake Harshman and Josie.
Yes.
When
Josie.
I thought that we were, instead of having Jake Harshman on, Paul texted me and said Josie's in, and I was like, who the fuck is Josie? And it was just like an autocorrect mistake. So they play this trick where Jake Harshman has his wife come on, and she's supposed to be Josie, this lady that is a trucker, but also a bass fisherman. And she starts talking about how she likes to pick up dudes and waffle stomp in the truck stop bathrooms. And I'm thrown for a fucking loop for the first, she held it in longer. She did a full 15 minutes. There was at one point where I was just like, Paul, where the fuck did you find this lady?
And before that, the one that initially started this fuck with Alex off segment was with Blaine Upton.
Blaine.
Sorry,
Blaine.
And I knew who Blaine was and we'd interacted, but Alex was the one that got Blaine on and had
sabotaged
been
my own
back.
episode.
Yeah, and he came on and said, "This is great. Good job, Matt. I'm proud of." Look, I'm glad you didn't get irate because your quietness and your fidgetiness got Alex to believe. Great job.
Yeah, it would have. I don't know. If I yell, you probably know right away. Yeah.
Well, hey, look, the only thing that would have been better if you picked up your mouse and threw it, knocked over those trophies behind you, just like fucking. Started just tearing your room
clear
up.
Some shit out. Yeah.
Well, all right. After all this is for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a minute now, so you got to lead now. Like this is
But for real though, Matt did 10 years as a Green Beret. Now he flies Chinooks, which is to me a really badass fucking consolation prize from going to be one of the most highly trained warriors out there to being a pilot flying one of the biggest badass helicopters out there.
Did you fly for the Green Berets, or were you on the ground?
No, I was an operator for
Gotcha.
10 years, and then I branched out, did a branch change, and all that. So
what is the operator in the Green Berets? What does the operator do?
So the Green Berets, the way that they're constructed, you got 12-man teams so that you can split them up into two teams of 6. So you'll have your team sergeant, which is kind of your most senior enlisted dude. He's kind of like the dad of the team. He runs it. And then you'll have a captain, which is kind of, it's not the mom of the team, but it's a lot more junior, but that is the actual leader role on the team as far as legalities go. Then you also
that would be like an officer.
Yep. So that's a captain, and then you'll have a warrant officer, which would also kind of split the other half of the team. So the captain would take one, the warrant would take the other. So you have 2 officers that can actually have that authority and make decisions. Then the rest of the guys on the team, you got an intel guy, and then other than that, you've got 2 weapons guys, 2 commo guys, 2 engineers, and that's pretty much it. And 2 medics. The medics are amazing on ODAs. They go through about 2 years of training.
Damn.
And a lot of I had buddies that were medics that literally delivered babies when they were, doing their time, because they'll spend time in basically a place that either gets gunshot wounds at an ER, or they'll go work on like a Indian reservation, and then they'll go just kind of live with them and do that. So, but I was a communications guy. I did that for about 4 or 5 years of that time on an ODA on a team. And then after that, I kind of split off and did some more individual stuff. And then that's when I left after that. So, yeah.
What is the selection? So what is the selection process? And then what is the training aspect that I'm assuming? And so I don't know as much about the Green Berets as like the SEALs, because they're kind of the ones that we hear the most about with buds and stuff like that. What's the selection process, and then what is that initial training process to become an actual Green Beret?
Yeah, so it's long. Sometimes it'll be like let's say, buds, I think I forget how long buds is. I think it's a couple months maybe, or a month. The qualification course, or the Q course as they call it, it's anywhere from 1 to 2 years. And that's just because there's so many different parts of it. So a lot of people, they'll come in, they'll be either, infantry or something else first, and then they'll go to selection. Or you have guys that can come in through what's called the X-ray program. That's what I did. So I went to basic training and then airborne school. And then I went to Fort Bragg, or Liberty, I think it is now.
Crib.
And that's your neck of the woods, right?
I'm down in Vietnam every Monday.
Nice. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm making money and I'm not getting shot at. So
there you go. So then selection. So I went and did selection from after basically basic training and just airborne school. They ship you over there. They do a little prep course for those guys that come in, which is basically 3-week mini selection. And then you go to selection, which is 3 weeks. It used to be 2. I've kind of gone back and forth on that. And then once you're selected, they'll bring you there, and then you'll do a series of other courses throughout. You go to SEER school, small unit tactics, and then your actual MOS or your job. So for me, I went through, I think it was, I forget how many weeks it was, probably 6 or 7 weeks of communications training.
Yeah, wearing that target on your back, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just carrying heavy shit around all the time.
Uh-huh.
And then all the radios, that are way too heavy. Yep. And then after that, they do something really cool. It's called Robin Sage. And that kind of brings all of the different jobs together. And they put them on a team for the first time. Go out in the woods and you do some guerrilla warfare. And then you graduate and get your Green Beret. But The Robin Sage piece is really cool. I don't know if you've seen any of it around there in North Carolina, but there's one lane. There's several lanes that go out there, and it's basically a guerrilla base they set up. They get the towns and everything involved with it, and there's one town specific where they have this famous colex, this culmination exercise at the very end, where I think our job was to go to the fire department and get something from their station. And it ends up, you're riding around in the back of like cattle trailers and shit, going through creeks and rivers and stuff. And they end up basically having a police chase. You're in the back of a horse trailer shooting blanks at the cops. Stops in downtown. And then people like that live there, they just like bring their folding chairs out and watch this shit.
Yeah.
But like people are shooting machine guns at each other, and yeah, it's a hell of a time. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So
I wonder if Country Boy Creek Fishing has ever been down there on his horse during that.
Him and his fucking horse. Dude, we got to have him back on. We need an update on the horses.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so on the Green Berets, is it all Army, or do you have people from other branches that get selected to come in and be a Green Beret?
Yeah, so Green Beret is all Army. So a lot of times you'll hear like on the news, it'll say Special Forces. So U.S. Army Special Forces, those are the Green Berets. A lot of times on the media, you'll hear Special Forces. Really, it's Special Operations, and that's kind of the conglomerate of MARSOC from the Marines, the SEALs, Green Berets, and Air Force has a couple things. So yeah.
When were you? What years were you a Green Beret? Can you divulge that?
That's classified.
No, it's like 2010 to 2020. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you deploy and run any operations or whatever they're called out during that time?
Yeah, so I guess after I graduated, you select what group you're going to go to, and then there's I think 5 groups for Special Forces. I went to 5th Special Forces group, which is in Tennessee. It's pretty close to Nashville. It's in Clarksville. One just got hit by the tornado out there.
Yeah.
But I went out there, and each of the groups is regionally aligned. So, I guess that's another thing. So one of the things that you do while you're at school for 2 years, the reason it's so long is you have 6 months of language training. So
Damn.
They taught me how to speak Arabic, and then I went to 5th group, and then 5th group goes to the Middle East. So it was, for me, I did one trip in Afghanistan, which isn't really the Middle East. They don't speak Arabic there.
Right.
And then every other trip was Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Turkey, Lebanon. That's sort of the wheelhouse for 5th group. But
so you got to see some shit.
Yeah. When I first got to my team, Afghanistan was, it went on forever, but it was still going on clearly. And my team sergeant, the dad of the team, he was literally on the ODA or the Special Forces team that invaded Afghanistan.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
So, you just walking around there, you meet so many people that you're just like, holy shit, you show up as a new guy and you're just like, all right, I'm just going to listen because I'm not going to tell this guy anything,
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
Are these deployments that you do, are they, I know you can't be fully specific, but they're not like, how like the Army will roll out and they'll send whatever for like a year and then you rotate back or whatever. Are these like full on year deployments, or are these like as mission, like a couple weeks, a couple months, and then you come back home kind of deal?
Yeah. Longest deployment I ever did was a little over 7 months. That was my first one. And then most of them were under 6 months.
So were you going in, were you the guys that didn't have to follow uniform protocols and beards? Y'all kind of got to be the guys that didn't have to look like the rest of the folks there. You dressed in civilian clothes and stuff like that. Was that the kind of stuff you were involved in?
Yeah, I had a beard and I think every deployment, but it's, just kind of, you'll do a train up, you don't, do a train up while you're stateside, then you go over there. And a lot of times it was just whatever the mission dictated, you would get your lax grooming standards, and basically a a month out from the time that you were going to deploy, you'd just start growing it out, and you'd wear. Yeah, I mean, we still had uniforms, and some places that we went to, when you go on to actual missions, you're a lot of times you're definitely going to wear a uniform, but yeah, we're civilians for a lot of time. Actually, so much so that when I became a pilot and I had to go to course for like warrant officer school, I had to buy like 5 sets of uniforms. I had to buy Army PT uniforms. I didn't have any of those. I spent like $1,000 on shit that I was supposed to have that I didn't.
Well, I mean, and then even becoming an officer at that point, right? Like I talked to dudes in the Coast Guard that like went to warrant officer, and they're like, "This is fucking awesome," but they're very poor for the first couple paychecks because they got to buy all the brand new uniforms, the fucking sword, all this other bullshit. Like it's insane.
Time out. Hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
Hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
I was not in the military. Y'all have to buy your uniforms.
Yeah.
The U.S. government does not give you your fucking uniforms.
So
did you have to buy your guns and ammo too? Like, were you like, goddamn, y'all, I can't shoot much today because I only got enough money for 1,200 rounds.
No, you get your small stipend, right? Every month. They're God, I already forgot what it's called.
You go out to a mission and I'm like, hey Matt, just to let you know, buddy, you only get 1 grenade.
Well, no, that's
because
no, I mean like operational gear. Operational gear they'll pay for, right? Like for you guys, they paid for like your badass, like legit boots, like the ones that you're actually gonna wear doing shit, right? But like your normal fancy boots at home, you gotta fucking pay for that shit yourself.
Yeah, I do kind of laugh about it because I think every year it's an annual stipend. So like whenever you go in that birth month, that paycheck, for me it's October. So every October I get a check for, I don't know, a couple $100 or something. Maybe it's $300.
Yep.
And it's for your clothing allowance to buy, replace what you need. I feel bad for these new guys that are like, they're going to be switching the dress uniform pretty soon. And that thing's like, I don't even know how much I haven't bought it yet, but it's well over $500,
Dude, I was a wildland firefighter for the U.S. government. We got the same fucking uniform allowance that y'all did. And after like 3 years, you had all the really good uniform stuff. You had all the good jackets and all the good stuff. And so after that, everybody just buys fucking socks.
Dude,
because the socks were the shit. And
right?
I can't believe that we got the same fucking money allowance as y'all did, and you're out there getting fucking shot at.
I remember in the Coast Guard when I first got in, I went through 3 different operational uniforms in the 20 years that I was in, and every time you'd have to rebuy. But the first one was just like a pair of Dickies. So you could just go out and buy Dickies and then pop the Dickies sticks off of them, and they were like, "Yeah, that's good enough." Like
how
they
did
called it the.
How did they have to do your? Did you have to go get all your uniforms hemmed up?
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it comes.
Because I know they didn't make kid sizes.
There it is. There it is.
Look, dude, he's 5'2". So
listen, I just grew 3 inches from last week. Last week he told our guest that I was 4'11". So this is awesome.
Nice.
All right, Matt. So Green Beret, 10 years. You transition into a Chinook pilot, and that now there's 2 things here. First, tell us how you got into being a helicopter pilot, and then tell us about the ship that you pilot.
Yeah, so I kind of had reached a point, the 10-year mark. I was like, okay, what do I want to do in another 10 years? Do I want to do this or not? And pretty hard decision. But at the end of the day, I wanted to do something different. I started meeting a bunch of people that were in aviation. I'd clearly flown on a bunch of helicopters, and I thought that was fun. So I had a buddy, actually a friend of my wife that flew, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever thought about dropping a packet?" And I was like, "No, not at all." And long story short, I ended up doing that. Then I went to flight school. I selected for the shit hooks, CH-47s, and it's awesome. It's a blast. The main mission for cargo helicopter but it fits pretty much anything you shove in it. You know, fit 30 people in it in seats, and then a lot more out of seats, and can carry a bunch of heavy shit. And it's a blast. You know, the community is really cool. I definitely miss the special operations community. It's super tight. You know, aviation's not the same, but I would say that it's probably, from what I've seen in the military, it's up there, you know. So
is it super relaxed for you guys? Because I know, like, Coast Guard pilots, they are the most, like, they have zero military bearing. I worked at an air station as a E4, and they're like, "What's up, Alex?" And I'm like, "Hello, sir." And they're like, "No, you can call me Dan. You want to get beers later, bro?" And I'm like, I thought you were supposed to be like, you were a lieutenant commander. Like,
Alex,
you were
you've
an
also
04.
said that those Coast Guard pilots are the biggest dickheads that you've ever met.
I did not say that.
But
hold on.
No,
I said
we've
the
had this
rescue
conversation.
swimmers. No, I said the rescue swimmers are the biggest dickheads.
Oh, okay.
Not the pilots. The
Well,
rescue swimmers.
both of those guys in the Coast Guard have to have that little something that nobody else has.
Oh yeah, they're fucking nuts.
Crazy ass fucking
They're
shit
fucking
that they
nuts.
do.
Yeah, helicopter pilots specifically. Sorry, Matt, but you guys are fucking. You guys are all born with a screw loose because
Well,
that thing should not fly.
Exactly. Planes are meant to fly. Airplanes are meant to fly, stay in the air. Helicopters defy fucking physics.
Right? Like, I've seen a sugar glider, right? That's just that squirrel, and it spreads out. It looks like a plane, and it glides. Planes make sense to me. I never see a squirrel spin its fucking tail and then go right up in the fucking air, right? Like, that's not a thing. Like, helicopters are a solely
how many
human
birds?
thing.
How many birds do you see with twirlies on them, lifting off and flying? Not a fucking
up
one.
North Carolina birds, all cracked out, just.
You know, at flight school, they actually have like they got this funny instructor there. It's a bunch of old like Vietnam vets that are running flight school. Badass, you know, they all
craziest,
around, crazy old bastards, you know, and they talk about that. They're like, you know, it's PFM is what they call it, pure fucking magic. Like the whole, you know, that's the only way this thing works. When you look at like how many parts are connected to make this shit work, and I'm not a mechanically minded person. When I first came in, I know way more about, you know, mechanical shit now just because I've had to learn it. But good Lord, yeah, it's pretty insane.
It doesn't make fucking sense.
You said you were married. You get out of the Green Berets and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. And you tell your wife, like, all right, honey, I'm done being, you know, special operations. I'm going to be a fucking helicopter pilot. Was she like, Jesus Christ, could you like pick something that's a desk job? Or, you know, is she just as crazy as you are? And she's like, go get it, bitch.
My wife is, just as crazy as me. So she was actually, we met, I was married before and she was as well. But she was actually married to a pilot before, and he passed away from cancer after coming back from Afghanistan. I think 11 pilots had some form of cancer, and he had stomach cancer and passed away. And it was through a lot of her friends when we were dating and stuff that I kind of had met a bunch of aviation people. But she was all about it. She's like, hey, do something you love. She knew like she did do one deployment with me before I turned it in. So I knew that she'd be, you know, she'd be cool for it. And yeah, she's there for it. So
you know what this is? I figured this out. This is what she makes Matt do. She makes him wear that green jumpsuit, right? Like the flight jumpsuit. He puts it on, right? When he gets in, but then she goes, go one more, big guy. And he puts the Green Beret on at the same time. And it's like best of both worlds. She gets the pilot from Officer and a Gentleman, and then she gets the rough and tumble Green Beret at the same time.
She makes me watch that damn movie. And I'll admit it. It's a good fucking movie, but like I was like, I'm not watching this shit. But it's a good movie, you know?
She was like, hey, can you join the Navy so you can have whites?
Yeah, right?
It'd be really great.
How about Firebirds? Is Firebirds a good movie?
I've never seen it.
Oh my God. Nicolas Cage, 1989, Firebirds.
I
He's
love
an
Nicolas
Apache
Cage.
pilot. He's an Apache pilot that
You lost me.
and flies the why do I always forget the army attack helicopter.
Apache?
The fuck is it?
Apache.
No, it's the other one.
Cobra?
Cobra. Yeah, he's an Apache pilot that then has to go fly Cobras. It was after Top Gun. So it was supposed to be Nicolas Cage's
It's supposed to be the
Top Gun.
helicopter version of Top
Yes,
Gun.
What's
except
this shit called? I gotta watch
it's
this.
called Firebirds. Dude, you have got to watch it. It's Tommy Lee Jones, Nicolas Cage, late 80s. It was right after Top Gun. It was supposed to be Nicolas Cage's Top Gun. That's wild. Fun times.
We have like our Apache pilots are probably like your rescue swimmer equivalent, but
douchebags.
Well, there's some of them.
But they gotta be. They gotta have that mentality, man. Nobody's better than me because they're doing fucking shit that only like 25 people in the whole world are doing. My long snapper when I played football in college is now an Apache pilot helicopter.
Your homeschooled college?
Homeschooled college.
No, my wife's late husband was an Apache pilot, and I got a bunch of friends that have gone that route. It's a badass mission, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not a war right now where they can just be unleashed. But I mean, it is badass, and it's a cool helicopter for sure. But
so what Chinook do you fly? Because Alex has the MH-60, and I'm pretty sure it's not the 60.
No, that's not a Chinook. The MH-60 is like a Black Hawk or a Jayhawk or what is the?
That's two different ones, though.
No, they're not. The Black Hawk and the Jayhawk, and then I can't remember what the Air Force calls.
Well, why don't we ask the motherfucker that probably knows?
So the Air Force, they have the Pavehawk.
Pavehawk.
Well.
That's what it is.
But yeah, the MH-60 is, so the MH is basically the special operations version of it. So there's an MH-60, a 47, and then there's different variants of them. But yeah, those are badass helicopters. So
I don't think there's no.
But it's a Black Hawk, you know.
It's a Black Hawk.
60 is a Black Hawk. Yeah.
I stand corrected, Alex. My bad. So
Thank
what do you fly, Matt? And Alex, let's pull up a picture so people pull up a picture and save
what
it.
am I
so
fucking Jamie from fucking?
Yeah, because that's
All
what
right.
you do. You know how to pull shit up, save it to put it on the screen.
I gotcha.
And that's why I'm asking you. I'm not telling you. I'm asking you to do it.
I gotcha.
But he's got to tell us.
Are you in the
helo.
Are you in the CH-47?
Yeah, CH-47.
Gotcha.
Oh, Matt, we didn't tell you at the beginning of this, too. If you have to go tinkle, just like wave your hand and get up and go tinkle like
He'll
I'm
be
about
fine.
to do.
No, he's
I
a
gotta go
pilot.
tinkle.
No, he's
Hey,
a pilot. He's
can
used
y'all
to pissing his
Can
pants.
can y'all talk about fishing so I can go pee and not miss anything actually interesting?
No, we're going to talk about interesting stuff. Hey, Matt, how many times have you pissed yourself in the helicopter?
0.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably piss myself very soon just because I said that, but no, 0.
Exactly. We had this guy. This guy was one. Hold on. I want to go back a minute. Rescue swimmers are only douchebags because they think they're like God's gift to the fucking earth. And Paul's absolutely right. They have to do that for their job. Like they're fucking nuts. But they're not even the worst in the Coast Guard. The surfmen are. Those are the ones where you see that small little gray boat like powering through giant waves. Those guys are fucking assholes. They at least have like 2 domestic violence cases, 4 different wives, and a crippling addiction to nicotine and alcohol. And it's absolutely necessary to do that fucking job, which is the sad thing. But there's just some of those jobs in the military where you're like, man, these people are dicks, but they have to be to like do that job.
Yeah.
But we had this dude, and this dude was awesome. He called me. I was a young in CIC person. He calls me up, and it's a Saturday night. It's about midnight, 1 o'clock. And he's like, hey, do we have a flight out? And I'm like, yeah, we do. We had like some kind of patrol out. And he's like, send him down to Wildwood, New Jersey. This is when I was stationed in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I said, what's up? And he goes, I'm going to give you coordinates, send him over, and tell him to do a low pass. So I send the coordinates to the flight. They do a low pass. And he goes, fuck yeah, dude. So I told this chick that I run the air station. I can call in a flight whenever I want. Thanks for getting me laid tonight. So he basically told this chick, like, I can get a helicopter here right now. And the pilot that I told already knew. So they came in, took a low pass, did a hover over this beach bar, and then boogied out of there and got the dude laid. But he comes in, and it's after a SAR case, and they were out for a good amount of time. Really not that long though, because those were the 65s. So the Dolphin, very smaller helicopter,
Yeah.
but only go to like 2 hours, right? He comes in to give the debrief, and he's soaking wet from the waist down. I was like, "What the fuck happened to you, sir?" And he goes, "Listen, man, I drank too much Gatorade, and I didn't piss before I went. So halfway through the hoist, I was just pissing myself, and it was just heading everywhere." And I'm like, "Why are you? You could have came up with an excuse. Why are you being so honest?"
Yeah. I will say I think that the hardest pilot job in the military is probably it's got to be the Coast Guard, because the shit they fly in is insane. Like, like we don't do like we'll cancel missions overseas because the weather's doesn't meet criteria.
Yep.
But like those fuckers get called out and they just go, and it's insane.
Hey, just so you know, I'm clipping this. I never clip anything anymore. I'm clipping this. The Green Beret now. Chinook pilot said the Coast Guard's better, so I'm going to send that. I'm going to send that to Coast Guard recruiting. No, yeah, those dudes are nuts. I mean, it's part of the deal. They love what they do. They're
Alex, did you find a picture of the Chinook that he flies?
All right, so tell me exactly how many people can you fit into this, because it doesn't seem like a lot. It really
this
doesn't seem like a lot.
Look, if y'all are listening, you have to go look at minute 41. Go to YouTube, fast forward to minute 41,
it's
and
live
look
footage.
and see what the hell Matt Collins flies.
This is live footage of him flying. No, this thing is a big beast. These things are gnarly.
Yeah, man. That's it's got the little dolphin in the back there. That's it. So what's nice about it is it's one of the bigger cockpits. They kind of measure you when you go through flight school to see what you can fit in or whatever for aircraft. And I'm 6'1", so it's spacious. Kind of crawl up just like a plane. You got a little companionway to crawl up to, and then you hop over your seat and get in. But you can.
So you're saying I could fit on that helicopter?
You could, yeah, hell yeah.
See, Alex, go fuck yourself.
No, but there's weight limits too, dipshit. They could only have a 1 hour sortie with your fat ass.
Look, those bitches carry 5,000 gallon Bambi buckets. So
they do. Yeah, that's like
they are
that's a half a pawl.
Yeah.
If you guys want to figure out the math, a Bambi bucket, a 5,000 gallon bucket is only half a pawl.
Look, those right there, you don't see them much on wildfires. Usually it's in California when you see those. But when you see one of those and they're Bambi buckets, so for people that don't know, a Bambi bucket is the bucket that the helicopters dip water in and carry water to the fire line. This Bambi bucket is big enough to fit a school bus in. And that's what they're hauling. And when you see those on a fire, one, it's a big ass fucking fire, but also like if you get in trouble and you have one of those on your fire, that's what you're calling for.
That would be so what's the sorry, I got this picture to pull up here real quick. This is what you're talking about, Paul. 3, 2, there it is.
Yeah, that's it. So that's probably Columbia or Colson Aviation right there. They're a contractor that does it. And I was down in Santa Fe last year. We did a flight down there, and they had a shit ton of fires going on while we were flying down there. So we kind of fly around. We land in there, and they're all old 47 pilots, so they knew half the crew that I was flying with too. So they all start talking the shit. But they were out there for like 2 weeks working straight, and those guys bust their ass. And we do Bambi bucket training. We do training with our fire department here, and I mean, you could probably speak to it too, Alex. But just on, there's firefighters like that have gotten their shit kicked in because that amount of water coming down, because they're going to call you in to drop that. Well, it's smoky, it's crazy. And there's been firefighters like the dude that gave us a brief was like, hey,
wow.
Come on over here,
dude. Come introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, hold
Mrs.
on,
Collins. Oh, she left.
I want to ask her about the flight suit and the Green Beret at the same time.
Oh shit! But we had a dude. He was like talking us on to like how he wants to call us in to drop all this fucking water, because like it is literally so much water. Especially so in Colorado, we're already starting out at 6,000 feet, altitude here. So you don't have as much power available as you do, if you're down at sea level or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to the reservoir, we'll fill up this giant bucket you just saw full of water.
The size of a school bus.
Literally. And we literally have to pull it up, and then we have to let some out because it'll overgross our aircraft. Because you'll call in your torque, and if you start going down, they're pulling it out.
And listen, this thing doesn't have a lot of torque. It's not as much as you think.
Awesome.
And again, what's crazy with you guys, like we were talking about before, all you helicopter guys are fucking wackadoo. Because like you're saying, like, oh, we don't have enough torque. Like, meaning what? Like, oh, we'll just fall, but we're going to spin a bunch, and then we're going to fall out of the fucking sky. Like, it's insane.
We're flying this aircraft that's not meant to fly, and now we're adding in 5,000 gallons of water.
Right,
which is like 24,000 pounds.
Yeah,
and we fill it up, and then we lift up into the air and be like, "Oh, this is too much. Let a little bit out."
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole time, with a smile on their face. It's
the one thing with firefighting with those big ships like that though is the rotor wash. Like sometimes if you get too close to the fire on the fire line, if you're dropping close to the fire line. If you get too far down, the rotor wash ends up being like, a wind gust, and it's blowing embers and shit out there. So you might be dropping water trying to help suppress the fire, but the rotor wash might be shooting fucking embers across the line and stuff. That doesn't typically happen with those big ships because those big ships aren't, necessarily doing those close fire line drops. But I mean, there's a lot of shit you got to worry about. Trees fucking snapping off and coming down on you. When you're around stuff like that, you really have to be aware when you're on the ground because you got a bunch of water coming down, you got rotor wash.
And again, I can't believe that you did
the tops out of fucking
any
trees.
Of this, Paul. I can't believe you did fucking any of this. It sounds like you have to like have your head on a swivel. The only thing I've seen you do is swivel fucking mashed potatoes into your mouth. You have to be fast. The only time I've seen you fast is when you were fast to take off your clothes to put on that fucking bikini.
That was a quick wardrobe change, and I did not have it. Well, yeah, I did. I had it underclothes, so I just had.
You still have it on right now. I can tell. I can see your bra strap.
No, I don't, because that shit cut off circulation to my balls and my titties.
I don't know if you saw that episode, Matt, but as I was pulling the footage for it, I still want to go back to Paul. You filled out the top so well.
Look. I had really pretty boobies. If somebody just saw my chest area, like people would be like, "Oh shit, who the fuck's on Bass and Brews tonight?"
It
was an American flag top too.
What episode is that? I haven't seen that one.
It's the end of the year kegger, so it's the it's the first one of this year's the replay.
First one in January.
Cool. I'll never watch that one. Thank you.
I have
Alex made a post after that, and everybody was like, "Yeah, thanks for rehashing."
A lot of people didn't believe it. You could tell the audio listeners from the video, like the people that watched it live, because there's people like, "I don't remember that." I was like, let me drop it on my story real quick that goes away in 24 hours because here's Paul's titty.
Never forget.
Exactly.
Hey, if I didn't have nipples the size of a medium pepperoni pizza, they'd have sure enough been poking out too.
All right, while we're sitting here talking about attractive things, let's break the ice a little bit. Even though we've already, we're 48 minutes in, but I want to get to the question. And normally I do it at like 20 minutes, but I forgot. Because we're having such a great conversation, so let me derail all of that. And on Bass and Brews, we like to play Marry, Fuck, Kill. Or wait, shit, what are we calling it now, Paul?
Hold on. Where are you from originally, Matt? You're in Colorado now. Question. Where are you from originally?
I've been all over, but a super small town in Illinois, central Illinois. It's not Chicago for everybody that thinks fucking Chicago is Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois just has Chicago.
Okay.
All right.
So small town Illinois.
Yeah.
So we're kind of on this whole like a cryptid kind of a kick on this show, right?
Okay.
And I think the best way to gauge a person's character is if they play. You remember that childhood game, Marry, Fuck, Kill? Oh yeah, wed,
behead, or
no. It was bed, wed, or behead.
Yeah, bed, wed, or behead. AKA Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Exactly.
Because
So
Ramon doesn't cuss, so we had to accommodate for his non-cussedness.
we did.
Right.
All right. So you know the rules of this, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. So Bigfoot, aliens, or the Loch Ness monster. Which one are you gonna marry? Which one are you gonna fuck? And which one are you gonna kill?
Probably marry Loch Ness.
Whoa.
He likes it airtight.
No, you got
He
to
likes
build
it
a
wet.
relationship. Build a relationship. That Loch Ness is going to tell you where all the fish are.
No astroglide needed.
Right.
Yeah, you're good to go there. Let's see. What are the other two? Aliens and Bigfoot?
Yeah.
You have. All right, so I'd kill an alien.
Okay.
Because that's the most potential you have to shoot something down in the helicopter.
That would be badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, what bigger alpha move is there than to bang Bigfoot?
Yeah, that's what you're banging right there on the screen. That's what you're banging.
Actually,
So enjoy that.
no.
What is that
no.
picture?
You mean it's that one?
That's
the one you're
That's
gonna
what you're
fuck?
banging.
I gotta go back and listen to this Bigfoot thing because I haven't followed a bunch of it, but I think people that are into Bigfoot, like the people that like no shit, like chase that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's a special breed right there.
All right,
I've got to
How
listen
do,
to this.
how do you
All right.
think? How do you think? What is the primary Bigfoot sexual position?
Yeah.
Well, they got to be in charge. Like I don't know how there's like a female Bigfoot because they're both like.
What do you
gonna
mean?
kick your ass,
There's a
right?
female Bigfoot. Like,
But that's not the question. Though. The question is, what is their primary Bigfoot sexual position? What style?
I think it's something we haven't even seen before.
Oh,
Maybe it's
Okay.
just something crazy. But I don't know. I mean, it's got to be some sort of crazy. Is Bigfoot like crazy violent, or is
No.
there like a
they
soft
say
side?
no.
soft
They say
side.
that they're not violent at all. That they are just big. There's no violence in them, is what our buddy last week said.
yep.
Well, then maybe they just go missionary. Maybe
That's
they're
the
just
lady
a,
Bigfoot that
a
you
smooth
get.
lover.
Oh shit! Look,
Look
damn,
at that
she's pretty
sexy
good looking.
lady Bigfoot.
Hmm.
Wait, that was from 4th of July. Oof. God bless America. Anyways, yeah, you haven't heard it yet because we record, but actually, like last week's episode, we had a Bigfoot
It
researcher
drops
on.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was awesome, amazing. And after chit chatting online, me and Paul have to
Paul
work
and
out
I.
with Alex Rudd. We're gonna do a Alex Rudd fishing collab with Bass and Brews, where we're gonna talk about stupid fucking cryptids for like 2 hours.
hell yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I dig it. Yeah, I've got a 12-hour drive tomorrow, so I'll definitely check that out if it's coming.
Oh,
out.
you can get
2
like 6
a.m.
episodes in.
It actually releases at 2 a.m. Eastern time, so you'll be able to get it tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That's what
Shout
she
out to
said.
you. Shout out
That's
to
what
you,
she said.
slower, lower fishing. We put out this podcast at 2 a.m. Eastern time just so he can drive to work and be able to listen to us. He hit
That's
us
what
up.
we-
And,
That's what we do for our fans. When our
That's right.
fans say, "Hey, can you release it earlier than 4 a.m.?" and we go, "Well, what's earlier than 4 a.m.? 2 a.m. You got it, buddy."
you
Oh,
got it. Slower, lower hit me up, and he's like, 4 a.m.'s good, but can you do it at 2? You got it, dog. You got it.
Nice.
And he
Well,
lives in
speaking-
Delaware. Fuck
We
Delaware.
are Bass and Brews podcast. We do
Yes.
talk about fishing a little bit, and the reason that you're on this is not because you're a badass former ex Green Beret and a current badass helicopter pilot, but you also fish. You catch bass, you fish. You're in Colorado, which isn't a place that a lot of people consider bass angling territory, but you're out there doing it. Tell us a story of you getting into fishing and how you got to where you are today fishing.
So I got into fishing probably the same way most guys do. It's
Naked women. Yep.
no, yeah. No, my dad took me out, he had a little like a V-hole, step above a John boat, going out as a kid. And then my grandfather, he had a membership to this little podunk, sportsman's club, and we'd go out there all the time. And but we weren't catching bass. We were catching crappie and bluegill and, maybe some catfish. And even through high school, I had friends. We'd go out and we'd just sit out at night catching catfish together. It was just good time, hanging out. And then that was kind of it. I went away and went to college, joined the Army, and then, but I loved fishing. I'd go on, a trip with my dad every, whenever I could see him. When I moved to Tennessee for the military, the first thing I did was get a guided crappie trip with my dad. This is before live scope and everything, because
Right.
my parents were in Illinois and I'd been in North Carolina. I was like, hell, like we're close enough. Let's do this. And
what college did you go to?
Valparaiso, Indiana.
Oh, hell yeah. Everybody that knows anything about basketball in the early 2000s
there
to
it
the
is.
2010s know
Bryce
about
Drew.
Valpo. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Bryce Drew. Yeah. So yeah, I went there, and Homer Drew was still coaching there at the time. It was the dude's dad that made that like ringer, on Buzzbeater. Yeah. So, but yeah, so I went to Valpo, and then, so come back. I go on that trip with my dad. I had a blast. I got an uncle that also used to take me out fishing a bunch, and he actually bass fished. So once I started getting into that, I just hit him up and asked him questions about it. But really,
was that where you were still in Tennessee when you started wanting to get into bass fishing?
Yeah, so it was, but I was in Afghanistan, and it was my first deployment.
How's the fishing in Afghanistan?
I was gonna ask. I heard they have huge smallies.
Yeah.
Oh,
world class.
Out. World class smallies in Kandahar. There's a small creek that has easily 26-inch smallies.
Yeah.
If you guys want to find out,
Jake Harshman, did you hear that? Afghanistan, fuck the Susquehanna River. Come catch some smallies in Kandahar.
That's why we were there for 20 years,
Exactly. That was the whole plan. You guys were keeping it a secret.
No,
hold on. I want to further go. We were there for 20 years because you guys were trying to lock up a Bass Pro or a Bass Pro Tour stop in fucking Afghanistan.
No, the intel was the Loch Ness was in Afghanistan, so we stayed that long.
They showed up and Seth Fighter said, "Nah, bro, this is too fucking cold."
Oh shit.
I'm sorry. I'm just
speaking of that,
Seth
Alex,
Fighter.
that's a good point. Matt, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If all right, all the professional bass anglers that we could name off the top of our heads, which one would go fish in Afghanistan when the bullets were flying? Who would still keep fishing?
I think Zaldane.
Okay.
He just did a video going to, Fort Sill or something.
Yeah, he just put that one
those
up.
guys.
Yeah.
And he's a black rifle dude. I think he'd get his rocks off over there. Yeah.
I think Ike would fish in a war area.
I can see that. I like Ike and Ellie. A lot of people hate that.
I love that motherfucker. He's
a lot of people
hero.
hate. So why do people hate when people love Ike and Ellie? Like I remember as a kid, I grew up on Jimmy Houston, Bill Dance, Ike and Ellie came out, and it was different. No hate to Bill Dance or Jimmy Houston. I love both of those guys, right? But Ike and Ellie had so much excitement and energy brought in that a kid could get into. How many people you think got into fishing because of that?
A lot.
I did. So
especially a ton of people up in the Northeast.
Yep.
I mean, he was one that he was like the redheaded stepchild of fishing for years and years because he brought that Northeast attitude. He wore his emotions on his shoulders. I mean, I love that shit. Being for sports, those are the people that, but that's what I want to see.
I got a question.
Good old boys down there, no emotion and shit. No. Come on, motherfucker. I know you want to cuss. You lost that fish. I know you want to cuss. Just cuss. And they won't. But Ike and Ellie would throw a fit and break rods and throw shit in the water, and I love that shit.
All right, Matt, do you ever watch fishing on YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you like it when the kid is fishing a fucking golf pond and he screams, "I got a fucking giant," and he's hooping and hollering and jumping around, and he pulls up like a 14-inch bass? Like, is that fun for you to watch? Because that's what it's like watching Ike and Ellie.
But no, it's not, because like Ike and Ellie's
no, just different generations, right? Like Ike and Ellie basically turned into the cringy, not him, but he gave way to the cringy YouTube fisherman.
I don't know. I think they heard that. There's tons of places you could hear that. You could blame that on Google. You could blame it on whatever. But
we're blaming that shit on Google because we ain't
I'm
blaming
blaming
that because Ike actually fished
I
at
was
the
gonna
highest
say
level.
he's a
did.
Hall of
He did.
Famer.
He
He you know.
Yeah, but you know what? He's
won.
not. He's never beat me at fishing because he kicked me off his fucking lake. So
Did you guys watch that video where he called that chick a Karen?
I don't
Was
watch
it-
Mike
it was
Iaconelli. I
the
have
doctor.
standards.
It's one of the best things out there from like the last year. This chick's on her dock and she's telling him
yeah.
to leave, and
Mhm.
he goes off on her, and it gets kind of
Oh shit! No, I did see that one. Yeah,
Well, there was the years ago where the dog was barking on the dock and he cussed out the dog and
He
shit.
did. Yeah.
But the next day,
I didn't see
the next day, this was years ago. But the next day, he rolled up, came back to the same dock, and like
Brought treats
apologized and
shit.
brought
Yeah.
the dog some
Yeah,
fucking
I saw
treats
that.
and shit. But that's that we're getting way the fuck off topic.
No, that's
here
what we
with
do.
that. But that's the kind of shit. Those are the personalities. Like when ESPN got on there, they embraced those personalities. They wanted some of that tension. They wanted that personality. And so some of the guys that you saw back in then did that because that's what ESPN wanted, because ESPN knew to get ratings, you couldn't just be out there, chewing tobacco, smoking cigarettes and fucking fishing and never getting excited. And that's where we saw a bunch of that stuff. And now we see some of these personalities in professional touring bass anglers that are suppressed. And Matt Robertson's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Where you have that personality out there and embrace that shit. Let them be who they be, because that's what people want to see. Because fishing is fucking the most boring sport you could ever watch, ever. It is the most boring sport ever. At least if they're not catching fish and they're out there acting the fool, I'll watch that shit.
So Paul, is that your pick? Is it Robinson your pick, who's catching fish in the shit in Afghanistan?
No, mine's still Ike. I think Ike will go out there and catch fucking fish and scream and holler and hoot and dodge bullets.
My first thought was Robinson, right? And then I remembered a couple of years ago, so I'm actually going to go with John Cox, because John Cox was fishing like 9 different fucking major trails all at the same time, right? So that guy would be crafty. He'd be able to sweet talk some supply person to get him everything he fucking needed to fish every spot, still be able to maintain a fucking gun encampment, right? And also do the dishes at Chow. He'd be able to handle fucking all of
everything.
It. Like, yeah.
That's the dude where like everybody's out, like everyone is over there fishing live scope. That dude, nope, crushing the bank. Don't give a
He's just
shit.
fishing a swim
It's
jig up
just him.
shallow in a tin boat. Like, didn't he get in trouble because his boat was undersized or some shit? Yeah. I like.
I don't think that was Cox. That was
who was that last year? Because they ended up going into some out of bounds areas.
No.
Do it.
No. Like 2-3 years ago, it was Cox got in trouble because his motor wasn't, like, he didn't have a beefed up enough motor or some shit like that. It's so he can get shallower.
I can't remember.
Really?
There's been a couple of the tin boat guys that have gone out and have pushed the limits of what the boats are in size, because they have to be, minimum size on the engine and the boat length and all that shit. And they were I can't believe I can't remember it, because it was just last year that a big
I would love to have John Cox and Shipwreck on so they can both talk about just trashing fucking boats.
I'm camping with Schwinkbeck in a few weeks down at Murray. Yeah,
dude,
for
you
the
better
Bassmaster on
shit.
Murray. I'm camping. As a matter of fact, I talked to him a couple of days ago, and I talked to him today. And so him and I and a few other guys are camping for Murray. But we got to have him back on before June, because then he heads up to Alaska. So we got to have Schwink back.
So Matt, you got a 12-hour drive. Obviously, listen to the Bigfoot episode, and then go back, look up the Darren Shrinkback episode. Right, this guy left a boat on the Niagara to jump into another boat, the ESPN boat, to then kill that boat so he can just get his fucking bag in. It is amazing. He was there at the start of the Bassmasters.
2006 is the first year of the elites. He broke his boat on the Niagara River. Came back the next day. They gave him the ESPN boat. He broke that boat and left it floating down the Niagara River to go weigh his fish in. So they get in like, Darren, where's the boat? He's like, I don't know. It's somewhere on the Niagara River.
But he is completely like when, again, I'm going to talk about this again. When Paul had him as a guest and he's like, we're going to have this guy. I was like, fuck, how's this interview going to go? You know what I mean? Dude, that was one of the most surprising interviews because he was like, I don't know about any of these podcasts. I'm just going to get drunk and tell you a bunch of fucking stories. And we were like, perfect.
Yeah.
He was the best. He was supposed to be on the live show. I had 0% chance that he was going to show up because he was like
playing hockey. This motherfucker's like 48 years old playing old man hockey league up in New York. And he's like, hey, I'm going to try to hop on during intermission because we drink beer during halftime or whatever the fuck they call it. And he didn't, which is fine. But I was like, hey, man, if you can make it, come on. But otherwise, yeah, I get it.
But Matt, we had him on because he transitioned from all of that to now he's doing kayak fishing.
Hell yeah.
We were at Santee last year.
It's an easier way to get in there without.
We were at Santee.
Right.
Yeah, we were at Santee last year. And it was, it was March, so it was spawn fishing. He shows up.
Oh yes.
And comes up beside the campsite, and he rolls up, and we look over and we're like, what the fuck is on his kayak? This dude went and bought a walker, like an old person walker, and he mounted it behind his seat on his kayak. And then put a piece of wood on the top step of the walker so that he could stand on the walker to sight fish.
No way.
Yeah, way. I got a picture of it fucking
boat,
somewhere.
Sick. I mean, all right.
I mean, that's great because I do feel like, Matt, we do have a picture of your kayak and it needs an upgrade. And I have so many different vehicle watercrafts loaded into this with smiley faces for this episode.
That's great.
From this to this.
That's fucking awesome.
I was just glad you didn't put my old Hobie on there. Almost sunk that thing like 20 times.
So you're primarily a kayak angler. Or are you fishing a boat, primarily kayak? What are you doing?
Yeah, so to go way back before we got derailed here, Afghanistan.
Yep. Kayak fishing in Kandahar.
So, no, my team sergeant, the guy that was on Triple Nickel, the first invasion in Afghanistan.
Right.
His name's Russ, and
Daddy Russ.
Wait,
Daddy Russ.
Russ Snyder's?
No.
How did Russ not talk about this on his episode?
Russ was too busy doing decks in Afghanistan.
Different Russ.
Okay.
But this Russ, he was huge into fishing. He had a bass boat. Anything a lot of these guys get into. I have an addictive personality too, but like you go full down it, right?
Right.
So Russ, back at Fort Campbell where he was at, he had done, a bunch of tournaments and bass boats. They had an event once where they brought a bunch of like elites down. He got to fish with like KVD once as his co-angler for like a kind of like they paired you with a military dude. Then Russ was his, but Russ was like, hey man, I sold my boat, and he was telling me, he was kind of counseling me. I was a brand new guy, and he's like, hey man, if you want to do this for a long time, if you want to stay in the military, like you got to have a hobby. Just come out of like 2.5 years of just training nonstop. That's all you're doing. And I was like, okay, cool. What's your hobby? He's like, well, I kayak fish. And I was like, well, I like fishing. So
what year was this?
This was 2012, 2013.
Pretty early in the kayak thing.
Yeah. So funny story. So he, Tennessee, which is where a lot of this shit started. He ended up telling me, he's like, hey, let me hook you up with a guy that I bought my kayaks from. Ended up being Chad Hoover. So I called Chad from, he owned Hook One at the time, which was his kayak shop.
Yep.
And I bought a Wilderness Ride 135 from him. Russ had like 135 and a 115 or something. And he would take his whole family out there, fish all over the rivers in Tennessee. I had that thing rigged out with 4 crappie rods, going crazy. And then, of course, like once you double up, you're just screwed because it's a fucking mess. But, But it was fun, you know.
This man is a Green Beret and a fucking Chinook pilot helicopter pilot, and he gets too crappy on, he fucking loses his shit.
Bullshit.
What I do? Oh, Jesus, help me. I don't know what to do. I got two crappies on.
Yeah, I mean, I love crappie fishing. Like as much fun as bass fishing is. Like if I get on a crappie bite, I'm gonna stay there. And
you're like, fuck them
crappie.
bass.
No, 100%, right?
They're
fun. They're easy.
As long as it's not a tournament, I'll just shut down and crappie fish.
Crappie are fun because they're so fucking stupid and they're giant schools.
It's
and
a long day.
Fucking hammer them all day long. I made that video, Paul, like 3 weeks ago? Like I finally got to go out. I sat on a fucking pocket of crappie for 45 minutes. Put like
and didn't keep a nary one.
I didn't keep one. I put a shit ton in the boat. It was amazing.
That's a shame. They almost taste as good as largemouth. I'm just kidding, guys.
No, they do. They do. They're second to largemouth, and the best tasting largemouth, I say it all the time on this podcast, are 7 pounds and bigger. And they also have the best frying eggs. You take a 7 pound, 8 pound largemouth bass, and you get those 2 egg sacs out, and you roll them in some flour and fry them up. Look, there ain't a damn fish out there that tastes as good as that.
Fucking idiot. I love you, Paul. You're a fucking idiot.
I've been commenting on some of Randy Blockett's Instagram posts about eating bass recently.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Have you really?
It's not been as good as I thought it would be, but somebody did start arguing with me the other day, and then they quit. I don't know. Anyway,
I feel like, hold on.
Back to Matt's story.
No, hold on. Pause in Matt's story. I felt like I've been missing something the last couple months, and that's trolling Randy Blockett on YouTube. And I haven't been watching his videos or leaving like very like trolly comments that he doesn't get. So thank you, Paul, for reminding me so I can get back to it. I felt like something was missing in my life.
Look, if you're gonna agree with Randy Blockett on anything, it's eating bass. Because that way you can get into the foray of comments where people get mad at you and angry at you.
Yeah.
And then you just kill them with fucking nonsense.
I really have missed his. Is he still doing daily, like videos?
I don't
do his YouTube
shit. I just see his Instagram posts every now and again because I have to check our messages, and then I comment dumb shit on his posts because
his videos were my favorite because it was like your grandpa, but it was like your grandpa at like 4:30 on a Saturday. Like he's already been drinking for 5 hours. And he's going to tell you some shit. There might be a racial slur at some point in it. Like, there might be some crazy shit all around. Like, that's the Randy Blockett video.
But then he started working out.
Yeah, he looked like Carrot Top.
Kind of jacked. Yeah, he did. He looked like an old Carrot Top minus the red hair.
Dude, those are early memes.
His followers are like diehards, though, man.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that guy on pretty much anything, but but I mean, he won a lot of tournaments and shit. You know, I haven't done it.
He won one. He won in like 1997.
Yeah. You got to respect that guy.
He was a decent. Back in his heyday, he was a decent angler in the mid to late 90s. He was above average angler.
But I think it's, you know, his followers are so like. It's like cultish almost, but I mean, good. I mean, shit. He's paying bills for his family by just posting shit about LifeScope every single day. And every time you comment on it, you're like, "Oh, I hate this guy. Screw this guy." You're just giving him money, so like he's smart.
Hey, that's the thing, though. You think about all the fucking anglers, and you think about what fishing has gone to over the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years. Not even that. The last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Where content creation is the key to making money in fishing. And Randy Blockett, this old ass motherfucker comes up and starts and just like jumps into the social media game.
I love it.
And starts fucking killing it like nobody since Guggen.
Right.
And he found his little niche to come into social media with fishing, and he has fucking killed it as good as anybody in social media in the last 3 years.
But Matt covered it perfectly. Matt covered it perfectly. He makes a daily video shitting on fucking LiveScope. That's all he does. He just shits on. I don't understand it. It's cheating.
Well, like, it's one thing to just shit on it, but so I don't follow him anymore. I don't subscribe or like his shit anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not factual at this point.
Right.
It's to the point where it's like
clicks.
it's
He wants some
just
clicks.
it's so much. There have been biologists who I trust, a lot more than some dude in the Midwest to just say, well, I had 112 people commented and saying this. Well, I bet they did, and that's fine. You made a lot of money on it, but yeah, that's whatever.
Hey, Matt, so here's the thing. If anybody knows who's listening, knows somebody who can get us in touch with Randy Blockett, I'd like to do an episode with him, me, Paul, and Matt. And then we're going to go into it straight as like, oh my God, we agree with everything. And then when he comes on, we just turn the fucking tables. It'll be our only 15-minute episode. Randy will cut out, and then we'll spend the rest of the episode making fun of him.
Hey, his earlier content though was based off of tips and tricks
It was.
that he did, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what got people, because he was putting 2 to 3 videos out
Yep.
a day talking about rigging worms certain way,
Jig
and doing
fishing and
bullshit
shit.
with
Yep.
jigs,
Yep.
and
And it's he still has a bunch of that shit.
Yeah.
Like he I've traveled. There's a huge classic in the Midwest. It's on Truman Lake, which is near the Ozark. It feeds in the Ozarks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, I want to kind of learn about the Ozarks, Truman, that Missouri type fishing. So I started following a lot of his stuff, and he's got a lot of good shit in there.
He does.
These are tips and techniques to what you need.
1 in
what you
5
need to target.
videos is awesome.
And then you hear all of that, and it's like, man, I don't think live scope has killed fishing. I got a buddy here in Colorado. He works for Eagle Claw,
Mhm.
and he does all their I think all their pro staff and marketing stuff for them.
Hold
His
on.
name's Eric.
Hold on. Eagle Claw has a pro staff?
Yeah, Trocar, Eagle Claw. Never heard of him?
Well, no, Trocar, yes, but Eagle Claw, like that's
Well,
your quintessential.
Eagle Claw owns Trocar.
I get it, right? But the Eagle Claw brand I associate with leaders that you attach to put power bait on, and you chuck that bitch out to catch stock salmon. That for me, that's Eagle Claw, and it's no shitting on them, but that's
no,
like they're the everyman's fishing gear. But that's I didn't realize they had a pro staff.
All right, so I think Scott Martin just won in Okeechobee on
He did.
Trocar.
He did,
but
not Eagle Claw. He wasn't using Eagle Claw leaders.
Exactly, but I think Paul
anyways.
appreciate that. So we were just talking about Eagle Claw. I got a buddy that works for Eagle Claw here. They're based out of the Denver area, and my buddy Eric works for them. And he's a fucking hammer out here. He just caught the state record crappie. It was like a 3-pounder in Colorado, which is freaking
That's
crazy
huge.
here. It's 18 inches.
damn it, that's bigger. That's bigger than bass Alex has ever caught.
But okay, there it is. But what I was going to say is Eagle Claw. One of the things that Eric is like huge about, is he doesn't give a shit about like the wrap on your boat. He doesn't give a shit. Like it's not going to impress him that you just drive over the country.
Mhm.
He wants you to go grow the sport of fishing, and that's his like 100%, like his personal mission in life. Grow fishing as a sport. I think LiveScope has brought more people to fishing because they're like, okay, maybe I can understand this a little more. Maybe I understand what the fish are doing. And yeah, there's arguments against it and shit like that. But my cutoff is when you're like, the scientists say this, and I'm just going to disagree with them because I don't like it.
Yeah.
But Eric is like, let me get a bobber and a snell hook in a kid's hands and teach him how to catch a bluegill.
Yeah,
And
And
you're gonna catch, like I grew up crappie fishing, bluegill fishing.
Mhm.
Now I'm
And if
traveling
there's
all
anything,
over.
and if there's anything a beginner angler is gonna pick out hook wise to start using,
it's Eagle Claw
because they're going to Walmart,
yeah.
they're going to your local tackle shops, and they're gonna get the cheapest shit. It is a fucking Eagle Claw little brim hook, is what they're gonna get. Back up for
you
a
missed
second.
it.
You said something about live scope, forward facing sonar, bringing in more people into fishing. I don't know if it's necessarily brought more people into fishing, but it has probably brought more people into tournament fishing, especially on the kayak side, because you spend $2,000 on a really good kayak, and then you can spend another $1,500 $2,000 on a forward-facing sonar unit, and you can become competitive in your local kayak clubs if you learn how to use that forward-facing sonar. So kayak fishing has brought a ton of people into fishing and tournament fishing over the last 4 to 5 years. And then now you're adding in this technology is a little more affordable, but you have less money in on the boats and the bullshit like that.
Yeah.
That you can put that stuff on your kayak and you can become competitive way quicker in competition fishing on a kayak with forward-facing sonar than if you didn't have it. And
Well,
I've seen it on our local clubs. We got guys who are really good anglers that, were top 10, top 15 here locally, which is, middle of the pack, upper middle of the pack. They got a forward-facing sonar over the last 2 years, and there's a handful of them that have now become in the top 5. Like, they're competing for our local AOIs, and they'll tell you it's forward-facing sonar. I'm catching fish I would have never caught.
This is Randy Blockett. This is bullshit. Takes no goddamn scale.
I will tell you, as someone that has forward-facing sonar, I've got live scope and on my kayak, and the first year it kicked my ass. I bought it halfway through my first season, with the club here, and you hear all the time, but there is so much shit you need to be able to ignore when you actually have live scope. There are fish that are just not going to fucking bite, And
also, I want to be clear. This guy said that it kicked his ass, right? He was the comms guy for the fucking Green Berets, right? This guy ran around with a, you guys use the pricks, right? The PRKs? Yeah. So he ran around with SATCOM gear on his goddamn back using crypto, all this shit, and he got his ass kicked. Like, it's not as easy as people think, is what I was trying to get at.
And now he's got a bunch of first-place trophies over his left shoulder.
Yeah. No, there's a funny story. I won rookie of the year first year. I won angler of the year last year, but we've got a joke. So I won rookie of the year, and then the next season I didn't get that until like the third or fourth tournament in, because my buddy Scott, who is like our sponsor manager for the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club, he works with Catch and gets these cool trophies made. Well, he had that thing at his house for like forever, and then it went through everybody in the board. They all like had it in their filthy mitts. And then finally I went to Trinidad and I got this, and then I won Trinidad, and it's fine. He's got my Angler of the Year trophy, but I just hope it's good luck for next year.
I will say, so I'm glad that you said, because I was like, dude, those look like catch boards, right? And that is
they are,
the fucking coolest
idea. The coolest fucking trophy, right?
Like
a catch board.
Yeah, that is way cooler than like the little wooden plaque, like, whatever it is. Like, that is a really fucking cool idea.
You know what? I don't want a fucking trophy. I don't want a plaque. I want money. And if you give me an extra $10, if you can give me an extra 10 hardcore cash dollars instead of that fucking trophy, you know what? Give me the money. I don't want no fucking trophy. I don't want a big check. I don't want trophies. I want the money. I don't want that bullshit.
Bad. You don't get any of that.
I have finished last in more tournaments.
Yeah.
In more tournaments than you have fished. Little fucking short.
I just registered today.
Short munchkin.
I registered today for my first in-person tournament. It's in May. It's on a local lake. It's with a local trail here. They have an open. Like, you got to do so many opens before you can join.
This
join
motherfucker is going to go win that fucking tournament and talk more shit to me than he has ever done in his entire life.
Because the lake they're going on, I fucking know really well. I cannot wait.
The problem, Matt, is Alex was in the Coast Guard for 20 years. This motherfucker couldn't tie a knot if his life depended on it.
Is this a boat or a kayak?
Kayak. I kayak fish.
And it's out of Jersey or?
Yep, in South Jersey. It's the South Jersey Kayak Bass Fishing Club Open on Lake Lenape. I'm gonna put a fucking hurting because
I'm gonna enter that tournament and I'm gonna come up there and win it. And then I'm gonna slap you in the face during weigh-in.
You should come up. I'm gonna try to get you weren't on the Adam Minhara episode. I'm gonna try to get him down for it. Just more people that I can beat. Like, I have a picture. I have a legit Polaroid they have like the boathouse where people have to register their boats, right? And then they have like biggest fish. I have the third biggest fish on this fucking lake. I'm gonna fucking put a hurting on him, and I cannot
Hell
wait.
yeah.
Alex ain't gonna catch shit.
I probably
So-
What do you fish out of, Matt?
So I'm on Old Town's team this year. So I
Hell
fish
yeah.
out of a Old Town autopilot 136. So.
Yep, that's
love
what it
it.
looks like. It's it's happy and all.
That is not an Old Town.
Hey,
no, I love it.
Have you fished or like not fished? Have you been in that new one they have that electric assist pedal
EPDL.
EPDL?
No.
Have you been in that one yet?
I have not, and I kind of when it first came out, I wasn't on the team yet. I had a Pro Angler 360 before, and I'll be one of those people that is completely honest with you. I had so many issues with that thing. Went through 3 warranties on it, and then once you, but not even the warranties on the drive for it, but just the I had an XI3 on the front. If you put a motor on the front of that thing, I had a 12-foot. Maybe it's different on the 14. It's so top heavy. I could not stand up on that thing because water would just rush to the front through those rod tubes.
Yeah, I got a PA 14. I have a
he struggles
80-pound
to stay
thrust.
afloat.
I've got an 80-pound thrust Minn Kota Tarova, so it's an older motor that somebody gave me. It's the only reason I got it, and it's a little front heavy, but I don't have any problems with that. Like when I have to climb up to the front to deploy it or bring it in, I'll get some water come in. But as far as like just fishing and being up in it, that 14, those 2 feet add a lot of extra stability on with that. But I've also got my weighted I've got that heavy ass fucking motor in there. I got my fat ass in the middle, and then I got all the batteries and my other shit in the back.
Need, Matt.
So I've got it weighted fairly good.
So if you're in a Hobie, because I do think it says it in their literature, right? In their user guide, you have to be a fucking fat ass for that thing to work properly. I think it says you have to be at least 300 pounds for that thing to float properly.
I'm not 300.
Unless you're Christine Fisher, and then you can just fucking crawl around it.
She can
somersaults
stand on the front of that.
You know what happened if I stood up? I'm 215 pounds, 6'1". If I stood on the front of that thing, it would be sunken in like 5 minutes.
I tried to launch my boat a couple times like her, where she just pushes it off and jumps on the front and then hops in. I did that shit. I pushed off and hopped on the front, and the fucking front lid sunk down to about damn near the bottom of the boat.
Record that shit so we can go viral.
I'm pretty sure I've got it recorded. And then when that happened, like the tail end of it stood up like the fucking Titanic sinking. And so I jumped and got in the middle and somehow didn't fall in, but it was almost a shit show of shit-tastic proportions.
All right, so back to
also
the EPDL.
Christine's like 115 pounds.
110 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 255.
You ate that
I've lost
20
20 pounds. I've lost 20 pounds, bitch.
Since
that's the
January?
greatest thing. That's the greatest thing about being hefty versus being short. Alex will only get shorter. I can lose weight.
Yeah, but he won't because he doesn't have the willpower.
I've lost 20 fucking pounds, bitch.
Dude, I bet you gained 10 pounds by the end of the year.
No.
More than you were 2023.
I'm going to be, by the end of the year, I'm going to be 220.
No way.
Yep.
I love you, big guy.
I'm going to start doing coffee enemas. And I'm going to do one live so that everybody knows how to properly do them on a podcast. And you're going to follow me on my weight loss journey with coffee enemas and mashed potatoes.
As Drew would say, it's not a journey, you fat fuck, and you're just eating less. It's not a journey. All right, the EDP or the EPDL, you're not sold on that, or?
No, so when I first saw it, I was like, okay. First off, I think it's awesome that they took that technology, like the bike EPDL technology, and threw it in there. Honestly, the more that I look at it, for my style of fishing,
what style is that?
I love being offshore and forward facing.
Yeah, you need the spot lock.
I love spot lock. That's why I have the XI3. That's why I've got the autopilot, right?
Yep.
I love being offshore. But I lived in Lower Alabama. I was about an hour. So before I really got into bass fishing, I was fishing redfish like crazy down in the Gulf. I think that's where that stuff shines like crazy, is because now, hey, you know, you get into some bad weather because it kicks up a lot more there than it does, you know, inland. You can kind of move out, or these guys that are just, you know, trying to move to a different spot and then they're going to shore fish the whole day. You know, why not? So another thing is when I decided to go with an autopilot, Colorado, our fishing club here for the kayak series, both of them now allow motors. Last year, we did not allow motors, so we were kind of aligned with the Hobie series where, you know, you had to pedal.
Right.
That's fine, but in Colorado, and I'll say this because I'm not from here and I'm not going to live here forever, they have so many rules and shit against motors that don't make any sense. If a boat goes through, like if I was to take my Bass Cat and throw it, and I don't have a Bass Cat, but if I had one, it'd be cool. And if I took it down the ramp and I got it inspected, because you have to in Colorado, they wouldn't even look at my trolling motor. But the fact that I have a kayak with a motor on it, they have to inspect that.
Yeah. It
makes no sense for some of the rules that are out here, but they are what they are. So I am probably going to end up getting like a Sportsman PDL that I can have. But I love the ePDL option because, hey, as long as I don't have a battery in that thing, it's exactly the same thing. And I can take it out there, right? But yeah. So, but I think it's a cool concept. I think hopefully I really hope that gets kind of expanded out of the big water line and into some other stuff.
Oh, that's only on the big water frame?
So they released it on the big water. I don't know what their plans.
Yeah, that's too much.
I don't know what their plans are for it. I think the vast majority of kayak anglers, if they don't have an autopilot, they probably have a Sportsman PDL. And I think that is really the tournament fishing market for that.
I think that thing would shine. I thought that was on the Sportsman mod. I didn't realize on the big water. Yeah, that's too much. Like that Predator is, or not the Predator anymore, right? You say that because you
car top, but if you got a pickup truck or a trailer, I mean, that changes everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot less people. There's a lot less people now, even in my local area. There's a lot less people now car topping. Yeah. They have bought trucks.
Yeah.
Because they kayak fish. And then now they've bought trailers. I mean,
that's another thing in Colorado. So I can't have if I have a trailer and it hits the water in Colorado, I have to now go through an inspection. Which the inspections won't even open until 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. So I'm going to miss all the good fishing just to get my trailer inspected. So I bought a dynamic dolly this year so I can walk my whole kayak down there loaded up.
What is that dolly? I've got a couple people here. I've seen them on their videos. What is it?
Yeah, so Greg Blanchard uses it. It's probably like the most popular through him. But
Who's
it's called Dynamic Dolly is who makes it, and I think they have a kayak 12 and a kayak 14 model. I've got the 14 model, and it's awesome. I bought it. I was kind of
fuck. This thing is cool as shit.
It's badass. So the worst thing about putting, the scupper mounted, kayak like the old Hobie ones or whatever, the worst thing about putting those through your scupper holes, first off, you get to these heavier kayaks like an autopilot or the new Titan X's and stuff like that. They can't handle it. And, but they also can't handle like those boondock side wheels, because it's just too much weight. You're going to screw them over. But yeah, the back sits on that thing. I don't have to worry about going down to the edge of the boat ramp.
That's cool as
flipping the kayak over on its side, trying to get some cart. All my rods are dumping off the side of that thing while I'm doing that. I literally just deploy it like it's a trailer, and I've walked up and down corrugated boat ramps with those big grooves in it, no problem. So it's pretty cool. It's expensive, but it's cool.
It's expensive, yeah.
I've got bungee cords. I've got bungee cords on my Hobie wheels, and so I have to. What I do is I lay the Hobie wheels down. I lift my kayak and set it on top of the wheels, and then I have to go reach underneath and pull. And so I use on the Hobie drives, they give you this bungee cord, so that if you're in shallow water, you're beaching your kayak, you can put this bungee cord on the on the pedal drive, and it pulls the pedals where the pedals are flat against the boat.
Yeah.
So I use that to drop through the scupper, and I take the one bungee and I hook it to the hook, and I pull it through, and I hook it on the bungee cord, and then I go to the other side and I drop the bungee cord down through the scupper, and I hook it to the other one, that's the other bungee that's connected to the other side. I pull it through. I put it on one of the eyelets in the back, and then I have to lift my Hobie up. I have to lift the back of it up, and in theory, it pulls it straight up into the scuppers. Well, I've had those bitches on there for 3 years, so the fucking bungee cords are all stretched out. So I have to lift it up and kind of guide it in. And now for 99% of the time, it's pretty easy. But when I get on these boat ramps that are super fucking steep, I'm lifting the back of the Hobie up, and I'm in the water, and you got to lift that bitch like chest high. And it's got to line up, and sometimes, but I've got it down pat. But yeah, it's a lot of work, because when people are like, "Oh, just take your shit off and tip it over," I'm like, everything in my kayak stays in my kayak. I unload it from the truck into my garage. It's got all, like, I'm not unloading all that batteries and all my 8 rod and reels and my H crate. I'm not unloading all, and not to mention, after a day of fishing, the fucking bottom of my boat where I sit has fucking lures and worms and shit. It would look like the fucking Titanic sank out there. There'd be shit floating all over the fucking boat ramp. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Hey, Matt, why are you so good at telling stories?
Fucking idiot.
They're cool, but they are expensive. I imagine, like, more people, like, as these kayaks are getting heavier and heavier, and I think that's going to be,
have to go to shit like that.
It's going to be the future of it. So there's going to be more people out there doing it.
It is.
It's still less expensive than a trailer.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly.
It is. Yep.
And it's not technically a trailer, so I can use that.
You don't have to register and all that.
Well, when you move back down here to the Carolinas or Tennessee after you retire in the next couple of years, you're not going to worry about any of that shit.
Exactly.
He's only 39, I'm guessing, because his email has 1984 in it, and that's how old I am.
I'm 39.
Yeah. So he
ages way better than you. Fuck, Alex, you look like
no shit, right?
Jesus.
Oh, my shit's all white when I grow it out.
There we go.
I ain't got nothing up here, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's got the hat on. Thank you.
Bald-headed?
Yeah.
Huh.
Hey, so you said you listen to fishing YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes fishing YouTube can be really confusing, because sometimes we don't know if it's
Is that what I think it is?
Oh, it's a bass!
Or is it?
Yeah, so sometimes when we listen to these videos, they can sound like people fucking. And sometimes they can sound like just catching bass.
Nice.
So we're going to play you
This is terrible, because we didn't fix these either. Anyway, go ahead.
I have mine fixed, then don't fix yours. So we only have one for you, and I need you to guess whether this is, somebody catching a bass or somebody getting some ass.
AKA...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe I got this. I can't believe I got this. Oh. I gotta breathe for a minute. Holy.
So what's your thoughts on that one?
Okay, so those aren't typically the YouTube videos I'm watching. I'm watching, like, trying to learn something. But
somebody was learning something.
It's so crazy. I'll go with that. That was fishing.
It was definitely fishing. Thank you, Fish Mama Chris.
Unfortunately, I have scoured the internet for actual
the issue
corn
is people
sounds.
corns.
No. I have scoured the internet for actual sounds
Yeah.
in the corn industry that could relate to this, so we could actually make it a real game and have some people that were, didn't know. And I'm telling you what, in the corn industry, none of them sound like they're fishing. They straight up sound like they're just fucking all the time. It's very weird.
That's the game. It's the game of that fishermen sound like they're fucking when they're catching a fish, right? Because Wyatt had that great clip. It was amazing.
He did.
Paul fucked it up.
Oh my god.
Nope.
Wait.
Wrong one.
Oh God!
Like if we could cut that
Yeah.
one up and
Yeah.
take out
Take out
the
the
song
Who's
of our
going
people.
to who?
Who's going? And if we could take out the song of our people at the beginning, take out "That's a Good Fish" and just play that, like it would sound like somebody whacking off.
That's fine. It's still getting some kind of. So I've decided I'm gonna. The title of this. I always like to let people know my ideas. I was throwing this around
Except for
today.
me, he never tells me his fucking
Never.
ideas. He tells everybody else but me.
So, Matt, I think we're going to title this episode From American Badass to Bad. Oh, no, shit. What was it? From American Badass to Ass at Catching Bass. I feel like that flows well.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. But then I saw all the trophies. Hey, a question about the trophies. Are they always set up right there?
So yeah, I do another podcast. So I'm on the board for the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club. So we do a podcast here, and I got them set up for that.
Okay,
where
so
can you find
you're
that
not going to be
podcast?
allowed to do that podcast anymore after they hear this one.
Oh, I'm leaving in probably a year anyway. So it's my last year on the. My last year on the board, so we're good. No, nothing against them at all.
He was like, "Fuck them, I'm leaving."
No, I'm gonna be moving. That's why I love.
Where are you moving to?
Love this club. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Back east?
Potentially. Potentially Alabama. Potentially Tennessee.
Are you in the regular Army now, or are you in National Guard?
I am in the regular Army and Fort Carson right now. That's where I'm flying out of. And so yeah, I'm going to come up on that time to move, and got a few options here that we're kind of looking at. One's out of the country, and then the other two are kind of in the South. We lived in Tennessee for 10 years, and we loved it there. So that's one option, and then Lower Alabama is another.
So you close to retirement? Are you in retire at your 20, or you gonna keep plugging along?
I got like 6 years left. So
right, hey, you joined 2010, right? Yeah, so you got
so, but it'll be probably 20 for me. I mean, we'll see. Maybe a year more, but
hey,
I'll do 20.
Can you be colorblind and join the Green Berets?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think you can be colorblind and be a Green Beret, but not a pilot.
Yeah, you definitely can't be a pilot. That wrecked my dreams. I always wanted to be an F-16 pilot. And then, like in the 9th grade, I learned I was colorblind in our biology class. And you think I had some kind of venereal disease the way I got picked on afterwards. And I realized that I could never go fly. So
I like how Paul was going for the joke, though, that he couldn't be a Green Beret. The only thing stopping him is because he couldn't see the color of the beret, not the crippling gout in his foot. The drinking.
I only got
White
gout
Claws.
after I only started getting gout after I joined this fucking stupid ass podcast.
Hey, yeah, welcome to Bass and Brews. If you guys want to come be a co-host for a long period of time, I'll give you gout. It's fine.
You're gonna gain 40 pounds and get the fucking gout.
No.
And you have to deal with Alex.
No, on Vision, I got a story that I always tell buddies here because we'll talk about there's always different levels of acceptance. Like it takes. Maybe you got to be a little smarter to join one branch than the other. You walk into a Marine office and
hey, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Of course,
you can be the dumbest motherfucker alive and join the Coast Guard because Alex didn't even have his GED when he got in the Coast Guard.
Dude.
Hold on, didn't have a GED, but I scored a 91 on the ASVAB, so I can do whatever the fuck I want to do at that point.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Some of the smartest people I've met are not educated at all. They just got street smarts and they know how to get shit done. But
I take offense to that.
They know how to shoot people.
I take offense to that. He said the smartest people I've ever met aren't educated at all, and I took that as offense. Offense to that one. That was a real officer move. All
right, back to your story. I rudely interrupted on purpose.
All right, so Vision, right? So back to Vision. So being colorblind. Clearly you can be completely colorblind. I've been blind as shit. As a Green Beret before. So it was the first day of our this is at Fort Bragg or whatever Liberty. I think it's called there. Yeah. So we were there and you go through all, like, you got harder parts of the course and you got easier parts of the course. And I was showing up for day one of the communications course, which was, hey, we're going to teach you how to build computers. So I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be an easy day. Let's go get it. So we go to the gym first, before class starts. We show up. I hopped up on pre-workout.
Fuck
we're there.
yes. Fucking rip
And,
fuel. Get it.
And our instructor had something for us. He drug our asses out of the classroom as soon as we got in there. We probably didn't do anything wrong at all, but he just starts grinding us down. And this is probably August, in North Carolina. It's hot as hell.
Ew.
And I went blind, so he was smoking the shit out of us. And we're probably out there for about an hour, and we're in our full uniforms or whatever. And
That
we
you
all
had
know
to
it.
pay for.
Yeah, not that time, but the year later we'd have to. But
Diddy bag.
but everybody pretty well by this point in the course. So my roommate was next to me. I was like, James, I can't see shit, dude. And he's like, all right. So we're just there. We're doing, I don't know, jumping jacks or whatever the hell, just getting our shit pushed in.
Y'all are supposed to be building computers.
Yeah.
But we had done something wrong, which was probably nothing.
You didn't do anything wrong.
They
You
drug
breathed.
us. They drug
you
our
were
asses
alive.
outside.
Exactly.
And, I don't think you could do this anymore, honestly. But I couldn't see shit. The light just went away.
Yeah.
And I'm standing out there. I'm doing these exercises, and I told my buddy, I was like, I can't see shit. And about maybe a minute later, this instructor just kind of gets serious, and he's like, all right, everybody, stand up. And he's giving a speech about, losing his fucking thumb in war. Dude had one thumb, and
Really?
he's giving it. He really did.
The war was a nice lady of the night in Singapore. Snapped that thing off.
It
in an
was
action.
Fayetteville, so he probably did lose that in some kind of war in Fayetteville.
He was in 7th group, so it's probably some Colombian shit. But
Oh yeah, they'll get you in Cartagena.
yeah, but anyways, he's telling war stories. We're all just kind of standing at attention for him or whatever, and all of a sudden behind me, he's like, I hear the instructor pipe off. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? He's just chewing into this dude, and this guy literally, like, right behind me. My eyes are wide open, cannot see shit. This guy behind me, he's like, I can't see shit, Sergeant. I was not the only dude that was blind.
Yeah.
This dude behind me was fucking blind. And I was like, oh, thank God it's not me. Like, because, like, the next thing is you're going to fucking pass out. And then you're going to heat cat. They're going to kick you out of the course. That's like the worst thing. Like, all you care about is not getting kicked out. So you're going to stand up and take it. And this dude behind me, he's like, all right, everybody sit down. I was like, shit, how do I sit down now? I can't see shit. So my buddy, like, helped me sit down, drank some water. I was fine, but you don't have to be able to see colors, because you don't have to be able to see at all, like, apparently. So.
Your buddy, you should shout out your buddy for saving you, because I can just imagine him, like, holding your pocket or some shit like that. Be like,
here's the thing.
I got you, boy. I got you.
Or he could have been like, fuck that guy, and just like, hey, look at this guy.
Here's the thing.
Hey, Sergeant, this motherfucker's blind too. He's blind. Matt can't see shit either.
Yeah.
Matt's new name is Ray Charles. Get him the fuck out of here. He can't see shit. No, but honestly, here's what I picture. Everybody's lined up, right? And there's your ass about ready to, stand at attention the wrong way, and your battle buddies pointing you the right way, right? But there's just one dude faced the complete backwards. Stevie Wonder back there got called out because he can't see a goddamn thing.
His crew's gonna listen to this podcast in a week and be like, I don't know if fucking Matt should be flying right now. He's blind.
Matt's like, no, I'm good. I've done this before. I got it. I don't need to see.
Look, guys, the only time I ever freak out is when I have two crappie on at one time. Outside of that, I'm good.
There it is. Yeah. Listen, the dude's been under fire. He flies a giant helicopter that shouldn't be in the air. You know what freaks him out? Two crappie at the same time.
Oh, man. Do you guys call it crappie out there? I know, like, some people call it
crappie. It's crappie where I'm at.
Crappie.
Now, what's weird about the South, though, is
They
you
call it
do have
sockeye.
Southerners that call it crappie. The only people that
That's
call
like
it
New
sockeye
Orleans.
is Louisiana. So
Yeah.
Chris Cruz, Cruise Fishing, those guys are calling it sockeye.
Sockeye.
And then you have like the Mississippi, Alabama, some of your Tennessee people, a lot of your Tennessee people that I've been around call it crappie. But when you get into like the Carolinas and the Florida, the majority of people down here are going to say crappie.
And listen, also just to reiterate, Matt is good to fly. There, it comes with eyes. That's why he can fly just perfectly. All right, hey, we're about ready to hit the world famous shotgun round. Before we get there, because this is the part that's going to take you to the darkest waters or to the highest heights to become a serious angler. Before we get there, I want to give you a chance to shout out whoever or whatever you'd like to, because this is going to be the most judgmental portion of the podcast.
All right, cool. I don't know if they want me to shout them out after being on here, but
Sorry, I
Yes,
can't help it with that one.
My name is John Collinsworth, and I do not have any fishing sponsors.
Yeah, right.
No, yeah, Old Town, Minn Kota, Johnson Outdoors, fantastic. Like the biggest thing I'd say about them is, it is truly an American company. You talk to somebody there, and their warranty is lifetime. I love them. They're sponsoring me this year, and I'm going to start doing a lot more traveling and national tournaments. So that's my only real big sponsor for this year. And then outside of that, there is the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club. If you are ever through Colorado, we've got a multi-series, so you can catch like 40-inch pike at our tournament, which is a lot of fun.
Jackfish.
Then giant ass trout, which I'm not a trout fan, but and then outside of that, there is an organization I work with that I do want to shout out, which is True Patriot Outfitters, ran by my buddy Gene. He's on the one of the directors for the All American Kayak Series. But basically, what he does through his organization is they take out veterans and first responders on kayak fishing trips. I'm going to join with him this year, do a little bit more work with him. I went out last year with him on a trip, and just kind of basically was like a kayak fishing guide on a trip, and saw how impactful it was. They had one of the dudes there that was actually in the Nadal Hassan shooting, back in the day. And the fishing's one thing, but it's like a camping thing too. So at the end of the, we're all just drinking and, camping out and having a good time. It's a lot of those stories. There's a lot of recovery that kind of happens that, I'm kind of understanding some stuff that I went through that I didn't even realize was there, before I left. So True Patriot Outfitters, Gene Campbell, if you're a veteran that's wanting to do some kayak fishing or first responder, pretty much anywhere in the Midwest through Colorado, reach out to us.
It's awesome.
Hey, on that, we're going to have John on here coming up at some point, but John House out of the Charlotte area, they have Purple Heart Homes.
Yep.
And they've got a tournament coming up for Purple Heart Homes. It's Real Heroes. It's Lake Norman, North Carolina, July 13th of this year. It's a kayak bass fishing tournament. We're going to have John on to come talk about this a little bit more. But for the folks that are listening that are in the general area, if you're going to be in this area, July 13th, they're having a tournament to raise money for Purple Heart Homes. Go check that out. Go look up at John House, JONHUSE on Facebook, Purple Heart Homes. We're going to have more on that coming up, but go check that out too. They're putting on stuff to help build houses for veterans. It's local to the Charlotte area for the tournament. Everybody's invited, but it's going to be a good shindig, and we're going to have more of that coming up.
Hey, and just so you know, for the veterans, that's also Coast Guard.
Yeah. Come on now. I got one more plug, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
So there's a organization called Special Operations Bass Anglers, and this isn't like a kayak thing. They do a lot of bass boat stuff. I guarantee if you're in a kayak and you want to fish it, you probably can. But out at Lake Norman on November 8th, they're going to have it's $80 a boat, $20 big fish option. they do a lot of cool tournaments, and that money goes directly back to the families of whichever special operations soldier was lost on that. And this one is Sean Mullins, who was also at Fifth Group when I was there. Great guy, great family. So
awesome.
it would go back to just basically supporting his family.
That's very cool.
So
Alex,
November
maybe we get a
8th.
link and put that in the show notes. A link
Yeah,
to that.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt, give us the link for that.
so we can put in the show notes.
Yeah.
And as it gets closer,
Are
keep
you
in
going to
touch
come
with
out
us.
for
We'll
that?
keep
Are you
plugging
going to
that.
come out? Are you going to come out Eastway for any tournaments, Matt?
In November, probably not, just with the schedule of what it is. But I'll shoot you their Facebook page here, and
Okay, yeah, we'll put that in the
all their
show notes.
information.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes because that's Lake
We like to
Norman.
push
do
all
have
of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In North
that's-
Carolina, in the Carolinas in general, we have a good listenership, so we can.
do. Yeah,
We'll
that'd
have
be
some
awesome
folks
to be
up
able
there.
to. Yeah, and again, all these veteran things do apply to the Coast Guard. So go support that.
Yeah.
All right, it's about time for the world famous.
It's time.
Boys and girls, let's see how far down the rabbit hole we can go today. Woo! It only takes one.
Yeah, so this is the shotgun round. We're going to ask you a rapid fire set of questions. I don't need an explanation, or I'm sorry, we don't need an explanation unless we ask for one. And it's pretty simple. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Crocs or flops?
Crocs.
I dig it.
Have you ever flown your helicopter in Crocs?
No.
pussy? Anyways,
That sounds like that's a faux pas. That probably wouldn't be allowed.
listen, Coast Guard does it all the time. We do it in flops all the time.
They got cactus out here, man. You don't want to be wearing. It's like
You're
high
in
desert.
the air. What the fuck are you talking about? You're
exactly.
in the
You're in
air.
the fucking air.
Hold
No,
on.
but-
Never fly with Matt because he's worried about cactus. He's way too fucking low. He's way too low with that shit.
They call him snake shit like the guy from We Were Soldiers. Why do they
yeah.
call you snake shit? Because I fly lower than snake shit.
You're on your way to the water. Are you listening to hype music or slow jams?
Oh man. Nothing or hype music.
Hold on. Okay, so, oh man, we're gonna need an explanation. One, what a fucking psychopath. Nothing. You just listen to your own thoughts.
I don't listen to shit when I'm on the way to the ramp. Not a fucking
Yeah,
thing. I
and you're
listen
a
to the.
fucking psychopath.
No, I'm not.
Look
I
at
might
your
be
glasses.
a sociopath. I'm not a psychopath. Look, these bitches. I don't have to clean these lenses because they ain't none.
Because there is none. Hey, what does hype music mean to you? What does that mean? Like name some bands that would be hype music.
Brooks and Dunn.
So well, I'll give another shout out. My best friend, he's an artist in Nashville, Ryan Kender. He's a country guy, but he does kind of country rock type of things. And a lot of his stuff is like it'll get like aired for like last year he did the NFL draft, so it's like fucking hyping that up.
Damn.
Okay.
Let's see what else. A lot of times I don't listen to any music because honestly, when I drive to the water and when I'm driving home, or when I'm on the water, it's some of like the clearest thought that I have
Yeah.
because I'm away from all the bullshit
Okay.
in life, you know. So a
Yeah.
lot of times I'm not listening to anything.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't listen to shit. I don't listen to shit after tournaments either because I've fucking done shitty
lost.
and I'm
Yeah.
fucking pissed off at myself. Hey, real quick, speaking of hype music, do y'all have cool ass like call signs like Top
Oh.
Gun?
No. So I just
He's so
last
mad
year-
about it, I think.
yes.
Yeah. You
So-
should.
I last year we went to this exercise with a bunch of A-10 pilots down there. These
Oh,
guys
fuck
are
yeah.
so fuck yeah, right? So we're down there. It's us, but it's like all the Air Force. So you've got
Yeah.
like anything from like U-2 pilots down to us that are like 10 feet off the deck, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just stacked up like crazy. And they all get up. Everybody does their introductions, you know, and
Oh,
they're like,
no.
hey, I'm fucking Boomer 6'9" or something, you know? Like everyone has everyone
I ain't got no teeth, but I still 69. Call me Boomer
Everyone-
I'll gum her
everyone-
to death.
everyone had a call sign. Then it
Yeah.
gets to the Army and they're like, hey, we're here.
Wait. Even
I'm Matt.
Hey,
even the
yeah.
fixed wing guys don't have call signs.
No, so I think they're working on submitting like typically your unit will have a call sign. You'll have a call sign like in flight school. Your instructor will have one assigned to them, but it's
Like-
basically everyone has a call sign and there's a number behind it.
Yeah.
It's not. So what I've understood from talking to the Air Force people is basically when they go through their flight school, way back early in their career, they basically kind of find like a small dig to
Mhm.
kind of like something that is a little character dig at them that'll stick with them, but it's not insulting, and
It is insulting, but
But
you're
they'll
trying to
grow
church
with
up.
it, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
they embrace
exactly.
it. They embrace it.
but they grow with it, and the better
Yep.
they are, then people know them by that name.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool. The Army does not have that, but I will say, like, that is one of the coolest things
Yeah.
about the Air Force is like
Yes.
you've got your name, because that's one thing that I believe in is like your name should carry some weight to it.
Sure.
And if you're a piece of shit, your name's going to carry that's who you are.
Yep.
And if you're a rock star, then your name's going to carry that.
It
And that goes for integrity or anything else. So, yeah.
How about your birds? So like when we would take the AvDet on cutters, right? Like we'd bring whatever branch, it'd be Coast Guard or Navy. We never took Army. No, we never took Army on, so just Navy, right? But they're birds, right? The Blackhawks or Jayhawks would have call signs for the bird. Do you have a call sign for your bird?
Nope.
Nothing cool. God.
The coolest thing that we have.
Mhm.
So the coolest thing we have is the ramp of the CH-47. It goes down, and then there's like a kind of I think it's like a foot long strip. The actual ramp you step off on.
Yeah.
And the very end of that thing, a lot of times you'll see something written on there.
Yeah. So what's written on yours?
But the aircraft, well, so that's the thing. Like we have 13 aircraft, so I fly all 13 aircraft. It's not like I have
Gotcha.
the keys to one of them and I own that thing,
Gotcha.
But each aircraft basically has to earn its name. So that is kind of cool. So like something, that's broken on it or whatever, it'll have a name, but we really don't have anything.
Rotors. Hopefully it ain't rotor broke.
So what's the name of this one?
I
That's
don't
the
know.
Matt Collins. That says Matt
That's
Collins
it.
on the back of it.
Hey,
Yeah,
real
Tiny
quick, I know
Tim.
we're in the shotgun round and we're backing up to your military service. Do y'all have guns on the Chinook that you have?
Yeah, so on the regular Army Chinook, they'll have 240s, machine guns.
Mhm.
And then at special operations, they'll carry many guns on there and 50
Okay,
cals. So
So you have a dedicated gunner off of those?
yeah, I'll have a couple, at least two.
I know we were switching these up, Paul. Do you have any
Well,
switch
yeah,
up
because I
questions?
brought up the list because you can't
Yeah.
fucking do it ever.
I can never. Hey, so let's say
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
okay.
Yeah.
My man.
Ugh.
My
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
See, you can tell this motherfucker's from Chicago.
Exactly. Hey, since you are or were a Green Beret, what's the best special ops? Is it Rangers or Navy SEALs?
Oof. Between those two?
Well, I mean, we're talking about the best, so yeah.
Oh, shit.
You're trying to get him to sign off early.
He's trying to do like the same thing earlier.
Yeah, but-
Yeah.
no, I don't
I
really
had
care.
this
Like
planned.
I was talking to Paul about it. Like we all work together, so we go to the same
Yeah.
schools together and shit. So like
Yeah.
I've gone to school with a bunch of SEALs and stuff. I think the SEALs have a pretty cool mission.
Yeah.
You saw like they lost 2 SEALs doing
I
like
did,
an actual
Yeah, they were doing some
submarine
shit.
shit. Like that's pretty cool. I went to school with a buddy, Andy. He's a SEAL and he's retired now, but he was on a SDV team. And those
Mhm.
guys basically dive in a little tube that's like smaller than this little seat that I'm in.
Yep.
And he would tell me stories about like falling asleep underwater on like a 8-hour mission.
God
And
damn.
I'm like, God damn, dude. So they do some pretty cool shit. Yeah, I don't know. I think Rangers are probably cooler just because they bring the thunder of fucking
Hey,
it's
so
just
I'm
it's
gonna-
just it's a younger group, but it's just rage.
It is.
Yeah.
I
But-
will say, one, I have a story for you in the green room when we're done. But two, I'm going to clip this as you saying that the Navy and the Coast Guard is better than everybody else, and that we're going to say that you wanted to be an aquatic service member and you couldn't do it.
Hey, real quick, what about Delta Force? How do they compare to are they just another special operations unit like y'all, or
No.
Is it higher than you guys?
So there's
lower.
So there's the regular Army.
Yep.
It's kind of tiers, right? And
Yeah.
we won't talk too much about this, but there's definitely different tiers, and this is something that I've enjoyed the most in the military is the higher that you work on an echelon, and it's probably for corporate America too. You know, the higher you work with better people than yourself, the more you work around people that are better than you, basically.
Yeah.
The better you will be, right?
Steel sharpens steel.
And when you start working at that top tier level, you get into incredible humans on every aspect. You're talking intelligence, athleticism, maturity, decision making, leadership. It is all there. Yeah.
And you're saying that's like Delta Force.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that same breath, do you eat largemouth bass?
No.
what?
I should say yes, just to like screw with people. But
Well, hey,
only
if you said yes.
only 4 pound smallies.
There you go. There you go.
That's going to enrage people more than the 7-pound largie. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
But listen, if you want to get, because I'm pretty sure the record, it's a 24-pound smallie in Afghanistan. So if you want to do it, sign up for the Army. You can, in a couple of years, we'll be back there. So you can fish those waters.
Hey,
Tension numbers are low. That might help.
Yeah.
No shit.
In a 3-hour session, do you want to catch 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
1 7-pounder.
There we go.
Leaving tomorrow to go to OHIV, and I'm hoping to catch PB out there. So yeah.
Share lunker, baby. I want to see a share lunker on Instagram in the next 2 to 3 days.
Listen, if it happens, I want you to name that fish Bab, as in Bass and Brews.
Yes. I want you to. I want you to hold up your share lunker. Say this would not have happened if I not been on the shittiest fishing podcast. There is Bass and Brews. That's exactly what I need you to say.
Because normally when we have good anglers on, they come on the show and then their career fucking flatlines. So.
We've only had a couple. We've only had a couple that have excelled after they've been on the show. But yeah, hey, wacky rig or Texas rig?
Wacky rig.
My man. What's your favorite MRE protein?
So I never really ate MREs for the first 10 years in the military.
All right. Fucking fancy
probably...
dancy special ops. I ate MREs and I was in the Coast Guard.
We had ribeyes and lobster.
Yeah, no shit. Well, he wasn't Air Force.
What? Beef ravioli is probably a good one, right?
That is a good one.
Or chicken dumplings. That's a good one.
Oh, the chicken dumplings is the decisive one. People either hate it or love it. That chicken dumpling ones is the shit.
I got a story for you though. So this, you can see this is like people that are watching. That's a trash. That's a trash goat, right? So Lafarge Cement Factory is in Syria. That's the base that I was at, and they would fucking try to give us Taco Tuesday out there every time we would go. But they cooked it with fucking trash goat.
Yeah, man.
And you would get so excited, and then you'd realize like it was all local food, and it would be goat, and it'd be so disgusting. So we made it.
Fucking goat is delicious.
No.
Oh my god!
You ever had a Syrian goat?
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
No, I've never been over there, but I've had a fucking South Carolina goat, and I guarantee that bitch ain't far off from a Syrian goat.
Because that was Paul's relative.
You will shit your pants within probably an hour of that.
Hey, look, I have eaten coon, I've eaten possum, and I've eaten everything on a hog from the tooter to the pooter.
There it is.
So,
we still got to put that on a shirt. Paul, what's the rest of them? We got.
You gonna spend more on a rod or a reel?
I thought we were cutting that one out.
Well, we just ask it now, so it's got to answer.
Rod.
All right. A rod, okay. Finesse guy got it.
Yep, exactly.
No,
Being out.
I bought a. I'm not sponsor with these at all. I got a buddy that's on the Alpha Angler team, and he
Oh,
turned
shit.
me on to one of theirs. And
I love. I got out my deep cranking rods, Alpha Angler.
I
Thanks
got
to Joe
their,
La Barbera.
That's the Palahniuk. He's the head guy for that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Brandon Polnick uses them. But damn, I bought one of their. They're just jigging rods. It's like a 7.3. I forget what the hell it's called, but god damn, it's good.
It's gnarly.
All right, Alex, we're on the last two.
Last two. All right.
Yeah.
So the last two. Have you ever eaten beaver?
No.
No. It's
I mean,
crazy. All right.
y'all got good beaver out in Colorado.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of like good beaver in Colorado, Illinois, North Carolina. These all these places have really good beaver, I've heard. So that's crazy. All right.
Beaver's good eating.
It is.
I know where y'all are going.
Fucker.
No,
See, this
for
is-
real though. I've eaten beaver. I've eaten it
Yes.
all.
Like real
I've eaten
beaver?
all the. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
You ever had possum? You said you had possums.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said possum.
I was
He's
in,
But
fucking
beaver
weird.
tastes way better.
I was
It
in
does.
when I was in Robin Sage, that last part of the Q course in North
Right.
Carolina. We were
You were
supposed to be
eating
in
beaver?
Well, no, we were eating possum. We were supposed to be in a starvation lane. They were going to starve our asses out. Well, we were on one of our first missions, and I'm in like the back of this like Chevy S10, with a M4, and there's like 6 of us back there, and boom, we all like get slammed forward, get in a car accident in the middle of the night right after we did an ambush. We hit a fucking deer out there, and my instructor gets out there, pulls a machete. This old fucking Green Beret pulls a machete out, chops the head off this deer right in front of us, and we ate deer. Right, we ended up eating like 3 or 4 deer out there because we just kept fucking
Just
running
kept
into them.
hitting them. What are you, Smiley Outdoors? Just hitting deer left and
But
right?
but we had this chick. So this chick was like a Bolivian. She was from Bolivia, and she was like an actual gorilla back in the day, like when she grew up
Yeah.
as a kid. And she had a snare, and she caught a fucking possum.
Oh, I thought this was going to go a whole different
I thought
story.
we were
No,
eating
no,
beaver.
eat beaver?
To the beaver. I thought we were getting to the beaver.
She had a
I'm not,
snare.
yeah, I wonder what Bosnian
no.
beaver tastes like.
Sadness.
Bolivian. No.
Bolivia,
Shit.
one of the
No,
bees.
but she had this like we had all
Yeah.
this fucking venison like stacked up. Like we had
Yeah.
3
She
deer
was like,
just
fuck that. I want a
fucking
possum.
drained out, ready to go. And she had this possum in a cage that she had caught in a snare. And she had taken like those rusty ass burn barrels. She made a smoker out of them. It had different
Yeah.
levels on it. Smoker.
Yeah,
And
a
she was gonna-
UDS, ugly drum smoker.
she was going to smoke that fucking possum in it. And we had to make a mission in the middle of the night. We let that fucking possum out and let it go. And we ate venison for every day while we were
Was
there.
she pissed? Was she pissed? Y'all let the possum go?
She was so pissed, yeah.
Listen, this is what's wrong with the military right now. These men let out this possum and they could have ate him.
We
This
ate
is
deer
why
every
we
day.
won't win any wars.
Yeah.
Hey, so the most important question, all of these, obviously the Brewskis are going to judge you on all of these, and we'll hear about it on the Discord. Again, if you guys want to be part of the Discord, hit us up on our socials or bassandbrews@gmail.com. I can send you the link. Come join in. It's fun. It's a bunch of people talking shit, being the bullshit degenerates that we all are here on the show. You can do
Fairly
it,
feral.
Yep. Forever feral. Yeah. This is one they're going to judge you on. Every angler loves a great sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
On the water or just like
On
just,
the
top-
water.
it doesn't
On
matter.
The water.
Top
no,
fucking
I
3
want
sandwich.
on the water. It's on the
Okay.
water.
Okay.
okay, on
It's
the
always
water, I'm
Yeah.
always like it's either peanut butter and jelly because I'm just going
Okay.
to a gas station. A good old
Well, hold
like-
on. Time
Oh,
out. Time
hold
out
on.
before you
What?
move on. You're
Peanut
eating a
butter and jelly from a
jelly
fucking gas
gas
station?
station?
All right.
The fuck kind of gas stations y'all got in Colorado?
You don't have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at your like little gas stations?
No. We also
I
don't have
mean,
weed
yeah,
at
if
our
you buy
gas
a
stations
loaf
either.
of bread and a jar of peanut butter and a jar of jelly.
They're even called sandwiches. They're not even called sandwiches. They're called sandwich. Peanut butter jelly. You can get them in grape or strawberry.
Okay.
So
if
those
you
are
eat
my
strawberry
those are my
peanut
go-to.
butter and jelly sandwiches,
Yes.
you
Nope, that's the right way to go.
You're a terrorist.
You do one of each. You just switch it up. You know, you go one of each. Outside of that, it's either turkey and cheese,
Okay.
or if I'm going to make something from home,
Yep.
maybe like pastrami or something better.
Okay.
You know? So
Man, I was waiting for this man to say fucking spinach or some
No.
other weird shit. All right, Matt. Dude, it's been a fucking awesome time.
Hey Matt,
I would-
thanks for playing along with me earlier
Yeah.
and fucking with Alex.
Yeah, fuck
that
you
was fun,
guys.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was fun for you assholes.
Hey, thank you.
Anyways.
Thank you for coming on and shooting the shit with us. It's a good time.
Yep. Hang out for a
Awesome.
minute on the after show, but just because you guys did that, we have a way better special forces guy coming on next week. He's from
David
he's from
Goggins.
Delta 4. Yeah, David Goggins is coming on. He's going to talk to you about running. Anyways, you guys have been awesome.
He's so hard.
Yeah, we'll see you for the next one. Matt, hang out for a minute. What is this? Later, fuckers.